right for a great price. We won't lie to you, inflate your bill, or waste your time. Time to change your tires. Big Toy Shop, 8315 Argyle Road. 780-298-2797.
Measles outbreaks are occurring in Canada, including Alberta. These outbreaks are highly preventable. Measles is an extremely contagious disease that is spread easily through the air. The best way to protect yourself, your family, and your community is to ensure you are up to date with your immunizations. Don't get measles. Get immunized. Visit alberta.ca/measles to find out if you're up to date and what to do if you're not. A message from the Government of Alberta.
The Jason Gregor Show.
Wait for the Kamloops Blazers, a long shot to make the club. Pass goals and back-to-back games.
On Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Seventh and deciding game in the American League Championship Series tomorrow night.
Well, magnificent Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Also to Orders Nation. YouTube, it is a busy Monday. Of course, it is Game 7, boys and girls. And who doesn't love it? Who doesn't love a Game 7 tonight, which has the Toronto Blue Jays' first Game 7 for that organization since 1985. Meanwhile, the Mariners, this is their first Game 7. They've never been this deep ever in the history of their playoffs. So lots to look forward to tonight. On the bump, you've got two guys who went head-to-head earlier in the series, Bieber and Kirby. Bieber, of course, winning Game 3, Kirby losing it. And, hey, Kirby's been really good for them all season long. Loves his fastball. The guy hits the strike zone a lot. And for a team that doesn't strike out a lot in the Jays, that is, I think that could be a good mix for them, for sure. Because the Mariners pitcher puts it in their wheelhouse, and the Jays can hit Springer, Lucas, Guerrero, Kirk, Varsho, Clement, Barger, Connor Falefa, and Jimenez. That looks to be the lineup tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays to start. Obviously, we know, depending on the score of the game later on, Straw comes in sometimes for defense and a few other things. And you know what? How about Addison Barger in that performance yesterday? He was huge. Vladdy Guerrero was big. Obviously, young Treya Savage, strikeouts, inducing ground balls for double plays to end threats for Seattle. Man, it was a heck of a game. You love to see it. And the difference was really the Jays defense, which is a very good defense, and got a lot. That was the difference in the game yesterday, because Seattle's errors early on led to Toronto getting the lead. And that's why tonight, you know, in baseball, playing from behind is tough. I know Seattle came back in Game 5, but you look at it historically, you get a lead in baseball. It just seems guys feel like, oh man, one swing and I can try to tie the game. And then they're swinging for the fences more. So I think at home, you get the crowd into it. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Maybe selfishly, I don't want a blowout. Although if the Jays are blowing them out, it wouldn't be a bad thing. But there's just something about, if you're going to watch the game, you want a little stress, you want a little anxiety, you want it to be fun. And that's what should be happening tonight. Also a doubleheader in Monday Night Football. And NHL, the orders are off today. They will be back tomorrow against the Ottawa Senators. Jake Wallman will make his regular season debut, as he was activated off IR earlier today. You can get involved. What do you want to go? MLB, NFL, NHL, play whatever you like at playalberta.ca, our title sponsor. Get in there, of course, casino, sports, lottery, instance, live dealer, and more. But of course, the big one tonight is MLB, and it is Game 7. The winner will take on the LA Dodgers, and the World Series will begin Friday. So it's Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, if necessary. So that's where we're at. The Edmonton Oilers, we'll get to their woes of that team. To me, it's obvious what's the main Achilles heel right now for the Edmonton Oilers. We'll see if people agree or disagree with me on that. 833-401-1440 is where you can text us, 833-401-1440 in our inbox as we welcome to the show back after some holiday sickness, everything else. Sean Brown joins us once again as he does every Monday. Brownie, how you doing?
Good. Yeah, happy to be back. You got to add in their minor hockey. I'm glad that minor hockey tryouts are over and everything's kind of settled down.
Are you like the president of your minor hockey association?
Absolutely not. No. Steve Blink is our president.
What's your role though?
I just help out. I help out in development. I help out with the coaches, and obviously, anyone that's involved in minor hockey knows there's not a ton of volunteers, so you kind of get pushed in a lot of different directions. But we got a good thing going out in Strathcona, but you have a young son that's going through it. It's long, right? And it's nice when you can actually get the teams picked and ratified, and coaches can coach and kids can get on a team and everyone knows where they're at, and away you go. So happy about that.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. So are you ahead of the evaluation then?
No, we actually went a different way this year. We had a different group come in and evaluate our kids, and it was kind of a little bit more electronic. I think we had good results depending on, I think it depends on parents and which way their kid was evaluated and the team they actually made. It's not a perfect science. It's hard, right?
As a coach, so in U13, how it works in our association is you have people who kind of do the evaluations and they have them in tiers 1, 2, 3. So if you're in tier 1, then when you go to now, I watch all the same skates and I make my own evaluations, and then you see, and so they will have the kids ranked amongst the forwards from 1 to, because we had to pick 10 forwards and 5 defense because one of our forwards has to play defense. There's a shortage of D-men in St. Albert, but so that was just how it was. But you could pick out of, I think there was 28 forwards listed, right? So you just kind of would rank. You had to take your own notes and different things like that. And I can say, having talked to the other coach, like there was definitely a few where I'm like, you got this guy ranked where? Right? Like some that I had way higher and some that they had way lower. And so everybody's going to have a different opinion on what you're looking at. I'm always curious. I would like to know what are they evaluated on? Yeah.
Right? And that's, that's why it's not a perfect science either. Is because how you value and how you see a player is different than how I see a player. And none of us are right or wrong. Yeah. Right. So it's very hard. And then you have people that are, well, what are you basing this on? Right. And I thought, we did a good job, or the evaluators did a good job of explaining what it was they were looking for. Obviously, some people don't look at the email and don't look at the criteria and come in confused, right? But, it's just, you're always going to have that. You're always going to, and no different than, what we see with the Edmonton Oilers. And I'm interested to hear your view and getting my view and hearing other people's views. Is everyone, no one's really right or wrong, but that's the beautiful thing about the game.
So if we look at the Oilers right now, and I say you only get one, what would be your number one issue right now that you think they have to improve on?
Probably just right now, I would say the checking and the compete. I mean, obviously McDavid and Draisaitl, they talked about it. You've talked about it, touched on it, that, they're not feeling confident and their game probably isn't exactly where they would like it to be. Having said that, I think there's a ton of opportunity for the bottom 6. Right. I mean, you can see it with Knobloch and the fact that, he's shifting guys in and out of the lineup. He's moving guys, in different, throughout the lineup from, he's rotating his lines and trying to find some chemistry. So if it's me, I'm kind of looking at it being like, hey, you know what, there's an opportunity for some of these guys. They've played a lot of hockey. And to me, there's some opportunity for some of the role guys, right? Like when you look at Podkolzin, you know exactly what you're going to get. Right? High energy, get in on the forecheck. Obviously, that's why Draisaitl likes playing with him. But when you look at some other guys throughout their lineup, you look at, Frederick, or, I know Philp scored a goal. He's got 2 goals. So he found a way to be impactful. But to me, there's opportunities for some guys to go in there and play heavy, hard, uncomfortable hockey and create a real identity for yourself. And I think when you do that, you're gonna like McDavid and Draisaitl for as good as they are, at different times throughout the season, we're so used to them picking it up and then them dragging the Oilers out of this. That's what's going to happen for sure. But I think what could speedy it up is the fact that some other guys play with a little bit more energy, create a little bit more identity, give themselves an opportunity to be an everyday NHL hockey player, and which will allow Draisaitl and those guys, right? It'll drag them into it. But right now, they're checking their willingness, they look like they're easy to play against. And it's just, do they have, like, when you think of Podkolzin, that's exactly who he is, right? When you look at some of these other guys, I don't know if that's exactly, they're in a role and they're trying to create, that identity line, with Frederick and Philp and Kapanen. But is that really, is that them? Is that really who they are? So it'll be interesting to see. I think there's an opportunity though for guys.
See, to me, the number one thing, I think it's very simple. Their puck management has been beyond atrocious. From giveaways, you watch how many times this is NHL players. You got a guy 15 feet in front of you and you can't put the puck in his stick. Watch how many times the Oilers in Detroit had a rush potential and the pass is in the skates or behind the guy. It slows the rush down. The play's basically dead because now you've given the team time to recover. And I counted 8 times McDavid or Draisaitl entered the offensive zone in the middle of the ice and the puck got turned over before where you would have the invisible ringette line. And their puck management has been absolutely atrocious. That's why they have no contained offensive pressure. They're missing outlet passes all over the place. And it's been up and down the lineup. Like, I looked at the Oilers giveaway. The Oilers have the 4th most giveaways in the NHL right now. Last year, they were 13th, 14th. Now, when you possess the puck, you're going to end up with some giveaways. And it's not, because everybody always likes to point to the bottom 6 on this team. It's okay to say your best players got to play better. Their best guys haven't played close. And I love Draisaitl. He admits it right after the game. You know what? When your best guys are feeling it, it makes everybody's job easier. Because I don't know many teams who can have a 4th line that drag. They might have one energy game and a good shift. But when we're talking 6 games here, I'm not going into the dressing room saying, okay, Roslovich, Mangiapane, you guys lead us out of the wilderness. No, it's not happening. I'm looking at Draisaitl, McDavid, and their puck management from your best players. McDavid is right now is at 5.8 turnovers per 60. Last year he's at like 3.2. Yeah. Ekholm's over 5. So is Emberson. He's at like 5. He's way ahead of where he should be. Mangiapane, same thing. So it's other guys. Yeah. But Mangiapane has 2 shots in 6 games. They both were goals, and they came in the first 2 games. He doesn't have a shot on goal in the last 4 games, and he's played in the top 6. Doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you got to find a way to get a shot on goal, for goodness sakes. Like, get around the net. At least you can hammer home a rebound, so at least you'll get quality shot. But I just look at their puck management, Brownie, and defensemen missing outlet passes, forwards coming out of the zone on a simple, easy breakout. I'm trying to get my U13 kids to complete passes, and I think it's hard. I watched the Oilers a game against Detroit, and I'm sitting there, and I just started counting. Miss pass, not even under pressure, just miss pass, because NHL players should not miss passes as often as they have in that game in Detroit. It was unbelievable that they could not put a pass on the guy's stick in motion.
Yeah, I mean, they are not sharp, but there's not another side to their game, to me, the grittiness of their game to bring to sharpen up some of the areas that you talked about that they need to, hone in on. Right. So I just, you look at you. I'm not saying and giving,
but the Oilers don't
free pass.
Who's gritty on their team?
Exactly. They don't have that. I don't know if there's a value in that. They need that. They need it. But I think they do have guys like I said, naturally. I don't know if they have natural guys that naturally just want to play that way. Right. Other like Podkolzin obviously does. And then Hyman when he comes back. But, Tomasak, I'm not big body. I'm not sure he's the guy that is going to play heavy and hard. I don't know if Philp is a guy that is going to play heavy and hard and play the way he needs to play on your bottom lines to give them the energy. For whether McDavid, like when Draisaitl and McDavid find their game and start scoring goals, like what's the next line going to look like? Like who's going to keep that pressure? Who's going to keep that momentum? And if they don't, but if they don't have that momentum, then who's going to get it back?
Yeah.
Right. And I just, I'm not giving McDavid and Draisaitl a free pass, but I definitely know that they're going to figure this out. But the bottom third and fourth line, I don't know if there's enough identity. I mean, I like Savoy. I mean, he's in there, he's forechecking, he's going to give you everything he's got. And there's a lot of potential there. He's not going to drive a line, but after that, I don't know has that tenacity to their game.
Yeah, well, no, they don't have any. Like, without Zach Hyman, it's definitely something missing. Even Jake Wallman plays with some bite in his game. So it's something I said at the start of the year. The Oilers, when I look at their team and things that they're going to have to add at the deadline, I think adding another guy who's got some tenacity to his game would be a big deal. Now, the Oilers, it's not their MO. Like, you look at, there's different ways to win or get to the Stanley Cup final. The Florida Panthers have led the league in hits the last 3 seasons. They got to the Stanley Cup final. The Edmonton Oilers were second last. Last year, they were last. This year, they're second last. The year before, they were actually 14th. It's not their MO, and it doesn't have to be because it's been successful. But when they're not scoring, I can't really expect them to do something that's not in their MO. Mangiapane's not a hitter. Savoy's not a hitter. Howard's not a hitter. Like, you got Trent Frederick and Podkolzin. Like, Podkolzin's got, I think he's averaging close to 4 hits a game. Okay. That's what he does. Kapanen, I think, is second on their team in hits in his minutes. So he's kind of where he would be at. He's around a 13 to 14 hits per 60 type of player. I don't think he's going to be more, but that's just like, they're not a dump and chase team, right? They're a possession team. Yeah. And so guess what? When you can't possess the puck because you can't pass a damn thing, that's the problem. Yeah. I think if you figure out your puck management, everything else falls into play.
Really? Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not wrong. They're off, but I think, guys, you look at Calgary and you look at that Klapka, like, where are those guys? Who's drafting those guys? Right? I don't know if you find them through free agents but those guys right now are valuable pieces on your team that I think drag a lot of people into it. They create a lot of energy. They're not going to necessarily, you're not going to, your top guys are going to be the ones that you're going to win and lose, and you're going to win Stanley Cups with, right? But I just think those role guys right now are kind of, I don't know if we really know what we have. I mean, Lazar is a guy that, I know he got in against New Jersey, but he's, he might be a guy that'd be able to get in the forecheck.
I don't think he can get there anymore, man.
You don't think so?
Look pretty slow.
Really? Well, I mean, he hasn't played.
But even in training camp.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In preseason.
But he's got a little jam, though. Like, I think he's a guy that will figure it out and has some pushback.
Yeah, I'm not sure when they're fully healthy. Like, they're without 2 forwards now, and he's only played 1 game. What's going to happen when Hyman and Janmark come? Because now there's 2 other guys you got to go. Like, I look at their Oilers lineup, and obviously Hyman's 6 games away at least because he can't play until November 1st. Janmark, who knows? Where's he at? They thought it'd be a week. It's obviously been longer than that. So
can he come back and give you those types of minutes and that type of energy?
He can at least
skate. Well, they got lots of guys that can skate, but can he play with that type of energy? Did he consistently do it last year? I don't know.
Well, if you get the guy who shows up in the playoffs, yes. But last year he didn't have a good regular season. There's no doubt about it.
They got to get to the playoffs first, and they need the guys that are gonna create some energy in a long season. They've played a lot of hockey, right? So a guy like Frederick has to play heavier. He's got to recognize the opportunity for him to create some energy, right? That is good for him. That is good for his team, and the guys can feed off it. Not wait for McDavid and Draisaitl to do McDavid and Draisaitl things to drag this team out of it. There's other guys I think have to step up.
All right. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Kevin Woodley is going to join us. The Oilers, they got to score some damn goals. There hasn't been one game all year where you could say, hey, the offense won us a game. Defense has won them a game. Goaltending won them a game. Offense hasn't come close. They played very well against Vancouver, but couldn't score, and ultimately won because they didn't give up one high danger chance, which is very good. But the one team who is leaking more goals than anybody else right now is the Ottawa Senators, who have averaged 5 goals against per game. So maybe that is the perfect mix. And the thing is, the Sens don't even give up a ton of shots, but their goaltending, we'll talk about it next with Kevin Woodley on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Get ready, Edmonton. Glow Christmas Festival returns to light up the Edmonton Expo Center from December 4th to 31st with dazzling activities for the entire family. Wander the glowing trails, meet Santa in his sleigh, and shop from over 30 local artisans and vendors with handcrafted gifts and holiday treasures, perfect for everyone on your list. Get your tickets and learn more about what's on this season by visiting the calendar of events at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
Looking for an all-season vehicle with room for the hockey gear, comfort for the daily commute, and rugged capability for your weekend adventures? That's the all-new 2025 Jeep Compass, and you'll find it during the biggest sale of the year this month at St. Albert Dodge. Now, what can I say? It's a Jeep, it's a 4x4, and it's loaded with standard features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, keyless entry, and heated front seats, all starting from just $34,900. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Edmonton Elks Spectacular is back, presented by Goodwill. October 24th versus the Calgary Stampeders, featuring pumpkin carving contest and more. Plus, we're collecting donations supporting Edmonton Women's Shelter, Win House. Tickets at goelks.com.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
No fluff, no fillers, just pure entertainment. Sports 1440 brings the heat with bold opinions, big personalities, and Edmonton's fiercest fans. This is your turf. This is Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts, and play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocksyeg.com.
Mr. Rooter meets a ghost.
1 plunge, 2, and 3. A toilet clogged with a ghost? Man, I love plumbing. You're free now.
I will never find peace. The clog is fixed, yes, but I have never trusted the sump pump.
No problemo. I can fix that. Now go to the light, you little scamp.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter.
To resolve your unfinished plumbing business, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Finish up the season with the Lawnmower Hospital and Ego, the #1 rated battery-powered platform. Ego lawnmowers are easy to use, powerful, and efficient. Transfer the battery to the pressure washer and clean the house. Don't forget the air blowers for when the leaves fall. Get Ego at the Lawnmower Hospital. Power beyond belief. Visit lawnmowerhospital.com.
We're more than repairs. We're more than mowers. The Lawnmower Hospital.
At the Nissan All-In Clearout, there's nothing more chill than financing an award-winning Nissan for just 0%. Enjoy the soothing relaxation of zero stress, zero worries, zero indecision. During the Nissan All-In Clearout, get 0% financing plus up to $500 bonus on some of our best-selling models. You have 0 reasons to wait. Conditions apply. See your local Nissan dealer today.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$225. Oh my goodness, this text. I love the fire when people, because this one, this is a valid question. I understand why people would be. This comes from Andrew, 833-441-1440. Hey guys, I was feeling good about the Jays, but Vladdy just walked into the stadium wearing a Leafs Matthews jersey. Why on earth would he do that? The worst Game 7 player in sports history. You know what? He's not wrong on the last part. He's not wrong. Like, God, because if that rubs off on him, that is a bad decision. Like, somebody should have said, Vladdy, like, I get you're trying to show, it's energy and stuff, but Austin Matthews jersey, no, you can't do it. Like, that guy's Game 7 dud of duds. Hopefully it doesn't carry over. Because Vladdy's being unreal. Yeah. But if Vladdy goes over 4 tonight, damn well whose to blame it is. 100%.
If he goes 4 for 4, does Austin Matthews absorb some of that?
No, Austin Matthews better go out and be wearing a Vladdy Guerrero jersey doing something. He might have to go grab the jersey that Vladdy wore into the stadium and say, hey, Vladdy, can I please have that jersey to wear in a game? Yes. Yeah, so we'll see. But that is awesome, Andrew. It's very true. I just saw that. Actually, I see someone online. There's like, this is like wearing a Biz Nasty jersey to a spelling bee competition. Oh my God. It's that is I'll say this. If Vladdy has a great game, honestly, I'm Austin Matthews people. I'm calling Vladdy to say, give me that jersey. I don't care what it costs. I will get you a different one, but I need to wear that in when I play in a game in the playoffs.
And there's a very good chance they could get a call. I mean, Vladdy's red hot, right? I mean,
God, yeah.
Like he is. Wow. It's nice to see because all these, elite, the top guys obviously make the most money, but probably take the most heat, obviously, right? And it wasn't that long ago that, the fan base was challenged. Is he the player? Is he worth the money? So I always love seeing these guys succeed and do well, especially when it counts.
Yeah. So it'll be fun tonight, man. Game 7. Oh, it's been a good series. There's lots of reasons to like both teams heading into tonight, and we'll see what happens. I'll just say that I think if Shane Bieber doesn't give up a run in the first inning, because if you look at some of his starts, like his first start, gave up 2 in the first, nothing after that. And I think if he can get out of the first inning, the Jays got a really, really good chance. Let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches that will safely take you or your group to your next destination. Book your ride today at silentrides.ca. As Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com joins us once again. Woodley, how you doing, man?
Lifelong Mariners fan as well here. So you almost lost me in terms of being available for this segment. If you say the word Vladimir Guerrero one more time, I might end up in the fetal position in the corner because he is absolutely raking in this series. He's killing me. I had the pleasure, fortunately, I picked my spots. I wasn't able to get tickets for 3 or 4. And obviously, you know how that turned out. But I was there for Game 5. I got to witness, that's the biggest, people forget. Being a Mariners fan, and I grew up playing ball in Washington State, so that's where the roots of this are. Okay. I also basically quit school, drove to every major league ballpark in '95 after the lockout, and that's how I got into sports writing. I was actually 3 exams into actuarial studies, and then so there's a long story there, Jason. I am a baseball guy. Okay. Being a Mariners fan is you're just waiting for Lucy to pull that football away from Charlie Brown. So getting there on Friday night and getting to see that grand slam in person, that's the biggest moment in franchise history to date for a team that's never even been to the World Series. So I'm a big fan of a lot of the guys on the Jays. I love Guerrero, what Savage did last night, getting out of that bases loaded. It's great. I get it. But for me, I got to stick with the team I grew up supporting. So this is a little nerve-wracking tonight.
Well, buddy, I would be ashamed of you if you didn't. If you suddenly were like, well, you know what, I'm living in. No, cheer for the team you cheer for. I totally respect it. That's great. And as much as Vladdy's raking you, don't sleep on Ernie Clement, buddy. There's nobody starts a rally better than Ernie Clement for the Jays.
Well, let's be honest. Like one of the biggest differences in this series is 7 through 9, the bottom of the order, and that was, to be honest, even with the bases juiced, my biggest surprise about them giving, anything to hit to Gino Suarez in that 8th inning, because 7, 8, and 9 have just been automatic outs. So, anyways, happy to. I mean, that grand slam moment, I put it on my Twitter. It was just the vibes were immaculate. Let's see if we can bring a little bit to the Mariners tonight.
Well, it should be a good game tonight for sure. Let's get to a few things. The Edmonton Oilers, their puck management isn't great. They can't score to save their life early on the season. The Ottawa Senators right now are giving up the most goals in the NHL. Well, that's tied with the Sharks. But you know what? I look at it, and they're not giving up a ton of shots, Kevin. Now, maybe you have the numbers on. Are they giving up a massive amount of high danger chances? How much of this is systemic and how much of it is goaltending in Ottawa?
It's a little bit of both. I would say it's mostly systemic. They are defensively one of the worst teams in the National Hockey League. It may not be on volume, Jason, but on quality. 5-on-5 expected goals against, they're 28th in the National Hockey League. Yeah. Rush chances, they're 26. Like they're and that's high danger. They are bleeding high danger chances off the rush. We've talked about this so many times. Like giving away the easy goals, you can't win doing that, and that's what they're doing right now. Their PK's 23rd, but the biggest thing is like when you're bottom 5, bottom 6 in the entire league in terms of giving up high danger chances off the rush, there's only so much your goaltenders can do, right? Like I go back to that Robin Lehner story, right? When he talked about when he was in Buffalo, he's like, we give up 3 or 4 odd man rushes a night. Even if I'm on my game, 1 or 2 are going in. He goes to the Islanders. He's like, we give up 3 odd man rushes every 4 games total. Obviously my numbers are going to be a lot better. And so there's an element of that with the Ottawa Senators. At the same time, the goaltending also hasn't been good enough. I mean, Linus Ullmark has an 875 expected, so that tells you how tough the environment has been. He's underperforming it, by 3.2%, which is like 46 out of 62 goalies in the league. And Levi Merilainen, who was so good for them last year, obviously, I think he still qualifies as a rookie. I don't think he even played enough games last year to sort of get past his rookie status. Only 1 game, but obviously a brutal start for him. I mean, he had an expected of 824 in that game. So again, there's your environment. Brutal. But he underperformed at a level that, frankly, at this point in the season, only Peter Mrazek's been worse.
Kevin, Anthony Stolarz talked about, his frustration with the Leafs and getting run. Stuart Skinner against Detroit got bumped into last year. I don't think there was a goalie that got ran into more than him. Like, what are your thoughts on a goalie, calling out his team, and kind of what would you, what does it say when a goalie feels like he's not getting the response from his teammates that he's hoping? What does that do to a goalie psyche?
Well, I mean, so there's two parts to this, right? Like, I think Stolarz calling out his teammates, like, it wasn't specifically just that, right? Like, it was overall play as well as a team and where they're at this point in the season and what their ambitions are and how much they'll need to be better to get to that level. But in terms of getting run, listen, I followed the Luongo era here, right? They put a C. You couldn't put it on his chest, so he painted it on his mask. They made him the captain. Like, anytime the goalie is talking about what's happening in front of him, it's a tough look, right? Because you're sort of calling guys out in a position that is always under the spotlight, where every mistake you make ends up in the back of the net. So it's a tough thing to do. You have to understand the dynamics of your own room, and you'd know better than any of us, Sean. Like, there are probably rooms where you can get away with that and probably rooms where you can't. I think most guys would probably prefer that it's handled within the room. In terms of getting run, though, man, like, are we not seeing more of this? Maybe my goalie union card has me being a little more sensitive to it. But the amount of times we're seeing guys just bring pucks to the net and come right through the blue and make contact. Like, there was even a goal where if I was Calgary, I would have challenged. It was actually a breakaway off the wing, got behind the defense. I think it was Eichel, where he actually goes to put the puck around Wolf. Wolf gets his pad above the goal line, and he pushes the puck and the pad into the net. I would have challenged that. And based on some of the challenges we've seen, like, it's just the reckless abandon with which guys are going to the net. And that's what they're told. That's what they're taught. But, man, our masks are designed to deflect pucks, not stop impacts. And so at a time where we've already seen, teams short on goaltending and calling up guys from the minors because of injuries, I'm a little worried about how many of them are taking that kind of contact early on.
I can see why he's fired up about it. Probably not the. I don't mind every now and then, but unless I assume when you go public, you've said it privately first. If you don't say it privately first, Brownie, that's probably when your teammates are going to get a little fired up for you. Kev, we had a lot of people texting. What did you make of the third Detroit goal yesterday?
It's funny. I looked this one up because I was curious as to how it would get classified because of the screen nature of it. And it ended up being a high danger chance. So, which goes to see what goes to show you how hard those sight lines were for him.
Okay.
I'd probably be a little more critical, but I think there was a mix of mental and physical errors involved, right? So, the mental error is as soon as that puck climbs the wall, as soon as you're out of a dead angle, like that puck comes into the corner with Larkin. So you go into what we call a reverse VH, which I think by this point, most people know what it is, right? If you have picture Skinner going into that left post with his left pad along the ice and the right pad sort of up slightly, knee raised, at that edge in the ice to sort of hold that short side. It's a dead angle technique. But as soon as Larkin climbs the wall, you want to get out of it. Now, the challenge here is that his defenseman Ekholm does nothing in terms of helping him find a sight line. He basically screens him on the short side. He doesn't move the body in front, and he's just stationary. And so if you're Skinner, the risk is, okay, I can find that puck on the wall more easily if I get back to my feet and give myself a chance to sort of switch sides with my head around Ekholm's shoulder and find sight line. The risk is, as soon as you get up, you're susceptible to exactly what happened. So his decision to stay down, I actually, think of it as insurance. Like that's a safe insurance move. You're not going to get beat along the ice if you stay down. It makes sense. A lot of coaches, as soon as that puck starts climbing the wall, they want you up. They want you back to your feet. And if he gets up earlier, maybe he finds sight line and he can get back to the ice. But there's a hesitation there, right? So now Larkin's got his head up. He throws one at the net. I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but to me, this is where the physical part comes in. If he just stays down there and hits his left pad, goes back into the corner,
yeah.
Even if Detroit grabs it, we start again, right? We start up the cycle again. If you noticed, he slipped against the post. His pad comes off the post and slips into the net. And to me, that's a physical mistake. That's an execution error. That's something where I'd even almost want to look and be like, hey, like, how are we doing our toe ties up here? Do we have enough of a gap between the bottom of our pad and the skate of our pad to keep that seal tight and not have that slippage? Because it really shouldn't happen unless he sort of tried to get up and got caught in between. And there you're into that tough decision-making process. That shouldn't happen. And so once he slips into the net, I think that's why he got up. Is because he had slipped and he felt he'd lost that short side coverage. And it's just a case of terrible timing because the puck's already en route and it looks horrible. But I think so to me, it's, do you get up earlier and find the puck? And if not, you have to be able to hold that you have to be able to hold that technique, hold that short side, hold that pad along the ice. For whatever reason, he wasn't able to. And that's where, all those snowballs I just talked about, they piled into one big one and caused a goal that, at the time of the game was and just the nature of it, the way it looks, kind of a backbreaker.
I'm glad you broke that down because I was watching it and Sportsnet had a great view behind the camera in the net there. And I felt the exact same way. I know nothing about goaltending, but it did seem like to me, he did, miss his push. And it was kind of odd that his pad was so far into the net there. But overall, what do you think of his game? It hasn't been a lot of games, obviously, with a new goalie coach, and everyone's talked about him losing weight, and it's a different season. What have you seen, and how do you feel? How would you evaluate him right now?
It's funny because I said, and it was good, Jason. We said this last week, right before the shutout game, that I liked it. Like, I didn't mind his game at all. His numbers are just a hair above expected. So, at a time right now, there's a few more goalies than when we talked last week. There's only 30 goalies in the league that are outperforming their environment, and he's one of them, right? So is he near the top of that list right now? No. But he's outperforming his environment. He's better than expected. When I look at how he's performing from an eye test standpoint, like you're basically talking about that mistake, whether and they'll have broken this down, whether it's a mental mistake of not getting up sooner or the physical mistake of losing that control against the post. It's the mistake on the goal against Calgary, the Coleman goal, like the decision to make it. Like these are little sort of hiccups mentally that are costing him. But when I look at his game in totality, it looks balanced. It looks neutral. He's giving himself a chance on a lot of plays. We are not seeing him off balance and pitched forward as much as we were before. And to me, those are all positives from an eye test standpoint. The performance is good. Like I said, it's not top of the league, but it's not bad at all. Like it's what you expect, and there's a little more to go. And actually, if you eliminate those two sort of, again, like brain cramp, I hesitate on the second one. For sure, the first one was a brain cramp. It's those moments that are costing him both statistically, because take those away and he's into the top 15 in the league, right? So it's those little details. But overall, as I said last week, I kind of like where his game is at. It just looks cleaner than it has in the past. And he's giving himself a chance to make saves. He's not taking himself out of plays off the rush with excessive depth. He's not scrambling around his crease. And part of that is the Oilers with a good defensive environment. Don't put him in a position to. But I just like that even when he's in recovery situations on his knees, there's a lot less swinging back and forth. It's just push and go and stop. And there's a good control element to it. I also think his butterfly looks a little wider. Like, I don't know if that's a biomechanical thing. I don't know if that's work he's done in the summer. I don't know if that's the pads or maybe the weight loss. But he looks like he's got a little more flair to his butterfly, which is allowing him to make those side-to-side pushes from his knees without having as many wild swings with the upper body, staying in one piece as he goes east-west. All of those are positives. And when you look at that, I think more of the results would follow. And like I said, outside of the two little brain cramps, the results have been really good.
Kevin Woodley from Ingo Magazine, NHL.com joins us. Kevin, I know you. I asked you to track because we talk a lot about the goaltenders numbers, which is valid, but also I was talking about the orders in the offensive zone, and they're like, oh, they got some of the highest offensive zone possession time in the league, and all these other numbers. I'm like, yeah, but it's not leading to any goals. And now I think their puck management, especially against Detroit, was ridiculously bad. They missed passes all over the ice, but like offensive zone possession time is great. But if it's not leading to a lot of really high danger chances, and I know because you gave me some numbers on, the difference of when you have a screen or a layered screen. And if you have a shot from outside the slot, you got like a 1.3% chance of scoring. You have a defensive screen, it goes up to 10.5. You got a layered screen, now it's up to 13.5. Like that's a significant difference, right? That's basically 12 more goals out of every 100 shots when you've got that. Edmonton, now Noah Philp has a deflection goal. Great, it worked. But what numbers have you uncovered to the Oilers' offensive zone that have led to their offensive woes?
Okay, so one quick one on the layered screens. As it goes up to 13.5% if it's a layered screen, which is great. If you've got a guy at the point, we see this a lot, where we saw this a lot with Tocchet and Hughes here in Vancouver. If you've got a guy at the point that can find those seams and get pucks to the net and hit the top corner on either side of a layered screen, I'll just filter the puck into the top corner, it goes up to over 40%. That play goes in more often than a breakaway in the National Hockey League over the past 3 seasons. So there's value to screens. There's value to having guys net front. Right now, first off, the Oilers haven't won a single high danger chance match in this road trip. Yeah. I mean, they killed Calgary in it. They killed Vancouver in it. They out expected gold. The Islanders slightly, but high dangers, it was 8-6. Detroit last night, expected goals, high danger. They lost that battle. Same with New Jersey, and obviously in the Rangers game. So they're not creating enough overall. In terms of net front offense, other than doing it geographically, just looking at the types of chance we typically associate with that. So screens, offense overall, in terms of expected goals, chances created, 18th in the National Hockey League. Rebound chances back on net. So it's one thing to generate a rebound. It's another thing to be able to get to that puck and create a second chance, and that requires getting it on net. Dead last in the National Hockey League. Less than half a goal expected per game. There are teams like Colorado, and Colorado's a skilled team. I think we think of them in a similar light as the Edmonton Oilers, are generating 3.6 already. So deflection chances, 12th, not bad. Broken plays. So pucks that go off legs and bounce to another guy, you're in the right position to win that battle in the front of the net after it hits a butt or a leg or a stick. 23rd in the National Hockey League. So overall, their offensive profile is uncharacteristically down for this year. Their net front O-zone, the types of chances you create right in, around, and directly in front of the net, they're 29th in the National Hockey League. And overall, like expected goals for 5-on-5, 27th and 28th off the rush. So they're not generating anything sort of in how we think of them as an offensive profile team in terms of rush chances. They're 28th. Net front, they're 29th. None of these add up to positive results. And we're sort of seeing it ever since those first 2 home games, especially on this road trip, where they're sort of losing the expected goal in high danger, battles on a nightly basis.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the numbers because it matches exactly what I felt. This team is not generating enough. The, dead last and generating rebounds on goal. I like that. So there's a rebound there, but if you get the rebound chance, but you don't get a shot on goal from it, it doesn't really do you much that you created a rebound chance. You got to get a rebound that leads to you getting a shot on goal, because I know you've talked about that anytime you get the goalie moving off of a rebound, your chances of scoring increase.
That used to be like the bread and butter, like that power play, right? Like that, create a scramble, create a broken play, know exactly where Leon is, who hits the net from a dead angle at an unprecedented rate, and just funnel it to him. Pass off a rebound's a 65% chance, and nobody did it better in the National Hockey League than the Oilers when they were up a man. So we haven't seen as much of it. Like, listen, let's be honest though. Like, these are all categories, as we discussed them, that Zach Hyman is elite at. Right? Yeah. Like when you lose a guy like that, and there's like screens. To me, screens are really interesting because it's not just about going to the net. It's about going to the net with a purpose. And that doesn't mean just determination to win a battle to stay there, because it's not as hard as it used to be, right? Like you aren't basically getting the other guy's wooden stick tattooed into your lower spine like you used to. I'm not pretending it's easy, but it's not as hard as it used to be. It's more strategical. Like it's about knowing what lane the other team's trying to take away and making sure that you're managing your screens to force the goaltender to move out of the lane he's supposed to be in by the system. There was the first goal on Lucas Dostal this season, and it just jumped out as a perfect example. And the type of complexity we're seeing teams run screens with that I'm not seeing from the Oilers minus Hyman. Screen is in the middle lane. Dostal takes short side eyes. That's your typical setup for most teams defensively. More bodies in the middle. Goalie takes the short side because that's how the puck gets into the net faster. Typically, if it's going to go far side, you have more time to react across the screen as a goaltender, and there's more chance it's going to hit somebody because of all those bodies. The screen in front of Dostal moves to the short side, forcing him to change his eyes. As he does, they shoot. Now, as a goalie, I know what they're thinking because we do these breakdowns every week. The goalie's like, okay, the screener's moving to the short side. I got to get eyes on this. I got to relocate my sight line. But I don't have to worry about the puck going in short side anymore because his guy's in that lane. He's not going to hit his guy. It was almost perfect. As soon as the shot's on the way, that guy goes from short side. He basically pulls himself out of the way right to the post and vacates exactly where his defenseman shot the puck. The complexity with which teams are utilizing traffic in the NHL today is off the charts. It's the hardest thing for goalies to defend right now, especially young goalies in the league, to figure it out at this level when you see these plays being run like this. And we just aren't seeing enough of it from the Oilers so far this season. But like I said, like Zach Hyman, I talk to goalies around the league. Like he is a guy that they isolate and talk about how well he manages their eyes when he's in front of the net. And that's something that I do think it's a lot harder to replace than people might realize.
Kev, great stuff, buddy. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you. Enjoy the game tonight.
I will. Go Emps.
There you go. That's Kevin Woodley. Quick break. We'll come back. Brian DiArdo joins us next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
You've probably heard the term supply and demand. Something is needed and someone supplies it. We're GS Construction, and we're in the supply and demand business with you. Edmonton and the surrounding area continue to grow. Infrastructure has to be continually replaced and upgraded to keep up with demand. You see it with new buildings and new roads, but what about below ground, where all sorts of pipes bring you water and take wastewater away? That's where we come in. For more on what we do, go to gsconstruction.ca.
Oodle noodle origin. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
The madness continues at the Brick. Get your home ready to host. Save up to $1,200 on made in Canada sofas and sectionals, up to 30% off coffee tables and nightstands, and up to 25% off bedroom and dining. Buy more, save more, up to $1,000 off appliances. Hockey season is here, and so are big savings on big screen TVs. Save up to $800, plus get free local delivery on screens over 50 inches. The Brick, saving you more.
It's a new season, Edmonton, which means it's time for new offers. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. This is your chance to score big. And for a limited time only, our listeners can get an exclusive $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for an exclusive $50 free bet. Alberta wins with Play Alberta. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, please use your game sense. PlayAlberta.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$250. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley with you. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And of course, it is Game 7 tonight. MLB fans, Jays and the Mariners. Also NFL, another doubleheader in Monday Night Football. We'll get to that in our football report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Don't wait till the conk's out. Plan ahead, legacyheating.ca. As Brian Diardo from CBS, NFL writer, joins us once again. Brian, welcome back to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm good, guys. I got to say, I was listening to the NHL segment. I heard Rick talk it. I'm a Penguin fan. That took me 30 years back, 30 plus now, to the 92 Stanley Cup winning team. So I didn't understand anything else you guys were saying, but I think, I know you didn't have me on to talk hockey, but I will say, find me a hockey team in NHL history that was better than the 92 team the Penguins had. Look that, I mean, I know you guys know, but they had Mario Lemieux in his prime, Jaromir Jagr, who was like 20, Ron Francis, who's the assist master, Barrasso, who's just put in the Hall of Fame. I don't think they had Paul Coffey. I think he was traded, but they had Ulf Samuelsson, who was an amazing defender. Scotty Bowman was the coach. I mean, get out of here. I love that team, but yeah, again, I know you guys didn't have me on to talk.
No,
33-year-old
hey, buddy, people talk hockey here all the time. I think the one of the Oilers teams of the 80s, it was an 85 team or 87 team, was voted as the greatest team of all time. But it's too bad because that you also forgot Kevin Stevens was on that team.
Yep.
Rick Tocchet, they had some power forwards. I would have loved to have seen the Penguins go against the Oilers because they both had unreal talent and they both were tough, right? Like Messier, Tocchet, Kevin Stevens, both teams had no shrinking violets on it. It would have been a hell of a series to see them go head to head because, those Penguins teams were unreal. And I'm sure it probably still hurts, Brian. The 1993 team might have been just as good, and they lost to the Islanders. David Volek, I'll never forget that goal.
Do you know the loss that hurts for me? And it sucks now because I work with a bunch of Florida Panther fans. 93, it hurt, but we just won 2 in a row. So I don't know. 96, Game 7 to Florida, just because they threw the Rats, and we knew we were better. And that would have been against the Avalanche with Waugh and Sakic. That would have been an all-time final. But I'll never forget before that game, Jaromir Jagr said he doesn't even like playing in Game 7s. And I just remember my dad sitting there like, what kind of attitude is that? Like, that's not what you want to hear from your second best player. And yeah, I mean, that loss still I have not gotten over and probably never will.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That is a tough one for sure. The NFL. Now, the Indianapolis Colts, they look really good right now. But are the Kansas City Chiefs, are they back to being the best team in the league again? What do you think?
I had to watch and sit through that game yesterday against the Raiders. That was like, I can't even compare it to any, like, it was like watching a varsity scrimmaging a JV. Like, it was bad. I mean, the Raiders were a no-show, but the Chiefs made them look that way, right? That's a great question. I think the Chiefs are still the measuring stick in the AFC, and I think what you saw yesterday was a reminder of how great Patrick Mahomes is when he has his full complementary of weapons. Like, yesterday was the first time ever that Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy, I believe, or no, Hollywood Brown. First time Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice were on the field together ever. So, like, we had never seen that before. And then Xavier Worthy, obviously, they still have him, Travis Kelce. I think, to me, the two big things that make the Chiefs the best team still in the AFC, never mind Mahomes and his receiving core, the running game is back. Isaiah Pacheco, he wasn't the same after he got hurt a couple of years ago. He wasn't the same back last year. It seems like now he's back. They're amazing still with Kareem Hunt and him working in tangent. Hunt's more of the short yardage back. They're unbeatable. Everybody talks about how great the Eagles are in the tush push. The Chiefs are just as good in short yardage situations, and no one's really talking about that. And that defense again is great. Chris Jones is great. They have a really good secondary nobody ever talks about. So no, I think they're still the best team in the AFC. And yeah, the Colts are awesome. They would give the Chiefs a heck of a run, but no, I still like the Chiefs against anybody else in the AFC.
Brian, you talked about, the Chiefs, being the real deal. What is there a team like, say New England? Is there any team that's out there that you feel is a surprise that can continue with what they're doing, or eventually do you think everything kind of goes back to the way it should be?
I mean, I don't see anybody beating the Chiefs if they're at their best. I don't, especially if they have home field. I don't see it unless you can apply pressure on Mahomes and you can keep their offense off the field. And I think, there's also, as we all know, there's the element of the intangibles of leadership and been there before, right? So if you're going to beat the Chiefs in a high stakes game, like the Bengals did 4 years ago, and they're the last AFC team to knock the Chiefs off their perch, they showed moxie that was above their weight class. They acted like they had been there before when they hadn't, and that was a lot of Joe Burrow and the confidence that he fed to his teammates in the above the neck game that he played in that game. I don't see another team being able to do it. Maybe the Colts, but can they put pressure on Mahomes? Can they keep them off the field? I don't know if they can do that just yet. Maybe the end of the season but no, the Colts are going to be here for the long run. I'm sold on them. They're not going to go anywhere. I think New England will make the playoffs. I think they're a very good team. I think they'll make it over the Chargers, but I don't see them being able to compete with the Chiefs. I think the only teams in the AFC that I see being able to give the Chiefs a game are the Bills. Obviously, they're not going anywhere. We all know that. Maybe Denver, but I just don't think they have the defense, and I still don't love Bo Nix. So, I still think I see Denver's going to continue on this run. I think they're going to make the playoffs. Same thing with New England. Same thing with Buffalo. Then, yeah, obviously the Colts and the Chiefs are going to continue to run as well. Teams I don't think will sustain it. I mean, the Chargers are in some trouble, and I don't see them making the playoffs. Pittsburgh might make it just from the standpoint that division's terrible, and I don't see anybody else making it in that division. But the Chiefs are still, again, they're still the team to beat, and through 7 weeks, I don't see another team that I would pick beating them in the playoffs in Kansas City.
Brian DiArdo joins us from CBS talking NFL. And you mentioned the Broncos, just an unbelievable comeback or just a terrible collapse by the Jets. Depends which way you look at it. But, that was huge for them. We got 2 games tonight in the NFL. You have Tampa and Detroit with Philly, definitely 2 of the top 3 teams in the NFC. Who do you like tonight? And is Tampa Bay still maybe underappreciated for how good their season's been?
I don't don't think so. Down here in the States, it's being talked about a lot. So I think they're getting their due. And I think people are considering them as a upper echelon NFL team right now. I think they lose tonight for a couple of reasons. A, it's in Detroit. I think home field advantage in these primetime games is significant. B, the Lions almost never lose 2 games in a row. They're coming off a tough loss. Dan Campbell is really good at getting them back up and going. And 3, Tampa's just been dealing with so many injuries. And you got to think at some point these injuries are going to lead to a loss, right? And I love Baker Mayfield. Listen, anytime Baker Mayfield's playing, people should watch. I love Baker Mayfield because the one thing I hate about the NFL today is this whole risk averse. We don't want turnovers. I mean, I'm from the 90s. I remember when the quarterbacks would throw 16 picks of the year and you wouldn't think anything of it. Now you would just freak out and all this stuff. Like Baker plays that kind of old school gunslinger style that I love as a spectator. So, but I just don't see them winning. Both teams are very even on paper. So when that's the case, I usually will give the edge to the home team, especially with Tampa's injuries. That puts it over the top. Not to mention, they have the running game combo of Gibbs and Montgomery that really gives them an edge in this game.
What about the Seattle-Houston? Like Houston, I think a lot of people, like their 2 and 3 starts, a disappointment for them. Where do you make of these two? And is this like, if Houston has any hopes of making the playoffs, they got to win tonight, don't they?
Seattle doesn't do this tonight, I would be surprised. They should hammer Houston tonight. I don't see Houston winning this game unless they can stay on the field on third down, which is they've really struggled with this year. They've got to possess the ball. But Seattle is 5th in the league in scoring offense, 6th in scoring defense. They're 8th in the red zone in both offense and defense. So, like, if there's one issue with Seattle, actually, ironically, it is on third down. So if Houston is going to win this game and steal it, is possessing the ball on third down and getting Seattle off the field. The way they can win this game is you've got to get Sam Darnold into third and long situations. You do that and you can pressure him, you can win this game. But again, I think home field on primetime games is significant. And I think Seattle's the real deal. I really do. And a lot of people don't like Darnold because of what happened in Minnesota, what happened in New York. But I really like him. And I think Smith and Jigba's a great receiver. He's up and coming. All these Ohio State receivers are great. I really like Seattle. And I think their second-year head coach is doing a great job. No one's talk about the Tampa Bay being underrated. Seattle's coach is so underrated, I forgot his name right now as we're on the air. So, like, case in point, but like McDaniel or McDavid or McSomething, but he's McGood, whatever he is. But I think Seattle's going to win this one easily. I'd be surprised if they don't.
Mike McDonald, Brian. Case
there you go, McDonald. I knew it was a McSomething. McLovin, McDonald, McSomething.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. Lastly, when you look at the overall, and we're getting closer to the midway point of the season, and you start to see kind of where teams are at, but no one's really like jumped off the page. The Bills have lost a team that people wouldn't expect them to do. Like the Colts being 6-1, they're good. Like the Eagles are 5-2. It's a good record, but it's not like crazy record. Is it parity, or what do you make of the fact that like there doesn't seem to be 2 or 3 like clearly heads and shoulder teams above everybody else like we've seen the last few years?
That's a great point. So where I sit is I think there's too many really bad teams. Like, I think that's the NFL's biggest problem because the NFL really wants parity. And I agree, like, there's no kingpin, but there's really bad teams. Like Miami is a cesspool right now. It's just if you're a Dolphin fan, there's no reason to watch any more of these games. The Browns don't care about winning. They just traded their week 1 starter to a division rival. Like, that's a huge red flag for the NFL from a competition standpoint. So I think that's the NFL's biggest problem. Like, I think as far as like teams, I mean, I really do. I think the Rams, and I can't do it right now, but if I sat down, I could sit down right now and say, Kate, I think these are, if you told me right now, pick 10 teams that are going to win the Super Bowl that have a chance, I could write that. And I could eliminate 20 to 22 teams right now. So, like, I do think that there's like 10 teams that have separated themselves. But I think the NFL's biggest issue is there's too many teams right now whose seasons are effectively over The question is, how do you fix that? I don't know, because the NFL is set up for parity, just like most leagues are, not Major League Baseball. So I don't know the answer how to fix that, but there are too many bad teams. I will say my main issue with the NFL, among several, it's too much set up on quarterback success. That's the one main issue I have. And if you don't have an elite quarterback or at least a Pro Bowl level guy, you're set up for failure. And I think we've gone too far away from the running game in the league, and I don't know how to fix that. But yeah, the main issue, of my opinion, what the NFL has is they've got to figure out a way to get rid of these Miamis and Clevelands and teams that clearly aren't in it, and we're not even at Halloween yet.
Brian, great stuff, buddy. We appreciate it. And somewhere someone will set up a fantasy game, 92 Penguins versus the 87 Oilers. It'll be a hell of a series.
I'm here for it. Sounds great, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Thank
That's
you.
Brian Diardo from CBS Sports. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Loca. Your next dinner is ready with Loca Quality Market and their gourmet meals. You can choose from over 200 chef-prepared meals. 2 locations. Stop in right now. Edmonton or Sherwood Park, or go online. Unbelievable selection and lots of healthy food. Loca.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Game 5, the LCS goes tonight out in Toronto. Mariners and Blue Jays first pitch just after 6 o'clock. Winner this one, of course, taking on the Dodgers in the World Series. We'll have that one for you here on Sports 1440 starting at 6 o'clock. In the NHL tonight, you've got the Wild in New York taking on the Rangers, Flyers hosting the Kraken, Sabres, Canadians, Jets up against the Flames, and the Hurricanes in the Sin City. And Week 17 NFL wraps up. Doubleheader starting in Detroit. Lions host the Bucs. Then at 8 o'clock, you got the Texans in Seattle. The Montreal Alouettes have signed GM Danny Machocha and head coach Jason Moss to 2-year contract extensions, keeping Machocha and Moss through the 2029 and 2028 seasons, respectively. And the Canadian Elite Basketball League announced that Commissioner Mike Morelli has stepped down from his role. He had been in the role since the league tipped off in 2018. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear Cam Tate's 2-minute warning and be joined and we'll talk some hockey with Dan Rosen from NHL.com. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts. And play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocks.yeg.com.
Edmonton Elks Spectacular is back. Presented by Goodwill. October 24th versus the Calgary Stampeders, featuring pumpkin carving contest and more. Plus, we're collecting donations supporting Edmonton Women's Shelter Win House. Tickets at goelks.com.
You got a go-to coffee spot. A trusted
Well, magnificent Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome.
There's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fits.
My goodness.
And the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big.
It's next in the Gregor Show presented by Player.
A Saskatchewan boy who grew up loving and playing sports. At least we think he.
Welcome back, Jason Gregor.
Listen to Kevin Carius weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's home for sports. Sports 1440.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 furnace replacement company for zombie hunters. Those who know their old decrepit furnace passed away years ago. Its decaying husk shuffling around now as the furnace. Legacy Heating will send your undead furnace to its grave, replacing it with no payments and no interest for 1 year. Protect your legacy from the beast in the basement. It's time to destroy the furnace of the dead. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Whoa, who turned off all the lights? Experience the new charcoal menu at Booster Juice.
Charcoal menu?
Introducing the Eclipse Smoothie, Blackout Booster Mixer, and Midnight Booster Ball.
Where's that voice coming from?
Dark and delicious, made with activated charcoal.
Can we please turn the lights back on?
Sorry, I'm just excited about the new charcoal menu.
Wow, that is good.
Right?
Available now, only at Booster Juice.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks. Ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? By Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock. Welcome back to the Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Sports1440.ca, as well as YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. It's the Gregor Show. Always brought to you by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Tonight, the Blue Jays, slight favorite, at home tonight against the Seattle Mariners. Is Vladdy going to go deep? Is this going to be a low-scoring game? Man, they have the over at the line's at 7.5. Whew. That is game 7. Are they going to get that many runs between the two teams? Like, you know, it's got to be like 5-3, 6-2, 7-1, something like that. No, so that's, oof. Geez, I might, and I hate the unders. Everybody who listens to my show knows that, but we actually had our Play Alberta pick of the day today. Hey, baby, it's game 7. You're going with the hometown team. Take the Blue Jays. Actually, I'm taking the Blue Jays to win by 2. So there you go. That's our pick of the day at PlayAlberta.ca. So good luck. How can you not go for them? I know we got a lot of text about Vladdy wearing a Matthews jersey that might not be good, but hey, you know what? Maybe Vladdy is so powerful, it's not going to matter. In theory, it should have no impact on how he plays the game, but I can tell you if we lose, oh God, there's going to be a lot of jokes and a lot of memes from people outside of Toronto using that 100%.
I actually we had a U9 coaches meeting tonight we were supposed to have, and I told my wife, I was like, we need to change this, right? It's game 7. It's the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Like, people are into this. And she's like, they're not really into it, are they? Not like the Oilers. I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah, there's
and so
my son's actually annoyed. We have a hockey game tonight, and he is just like, Dad, what time's the game at? I'm like, 6. He's like, what? So basically, I got to miss the whole game. I'm like, well, we can record it. He goes, well, that's not going to do any good. It's too late when I get home.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so rattled.
Yeah.
So. And
game 7s are great.
Oh, yeah.
And especially the way the Jays are playing now too. Like I hope it is close, right? Because I mean,
and we're gonna have it right here on Sports 1440. If anybody driving around, maybe you got to go to a game or you got to go to a coach's meeting, you want to stay on top of things, you can listen to it right here on Sports 14.
Well, that's great. Yeah.
So it will be very good. We got lots of more text coming in. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Got some lots to tell. Hey guys, I have to I can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with Gregor and disagree with Brownie on this one. I think puck management over grit Schmidt. How about get the puck and score? From Bob. Well, Bob, hey, that's good. Bob, you're getting smarter. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I look at, and Kevin Woodley outlined those numbers. 29. Like they got zero. Like how many times do we ever see a shot where the goalie's fighting to save a rebound? Right? Like they're 29th in getting a rebound and then having a shot on goal from that rebound, specifically 29.
But do you not have to stick around in front of the net? Which is
that's
grit.
my point.
But that is grit.
Yeah.
Like, well, they don't need the Oilers right now. Do not need linesmen in their games. Like there's no reason there's no scrums. They don't have to break up anything. Like it's a one thing to be there. It's another thing to stick around and feel comfortable being there and look at some other guy, look him in the eyes, create a scrum. Yeah. Like when's the last time that the Oilers reacted from, and as you said, like initiated a scrum? It's all right now. Their game is very reactionary, right? And their willingness to get pucks back, and the details and checking with their feet, having a good stick, finishing their hit isn't as close as what it is when they play other teams. And they're getting obviously everyone's best game, right? So there used to be a time where the Oilers would play good teams and it was a measuring stick for them to kind of see where they are at. Now they're the measuring stick for everyone. These young teams like Detroit with young players, like everyone, they're getting everyone's best game.
Yeah. I hear that, but sometimes I'm like, you know what? They've been slow starters. They did lose the cup last year. I looked at the history. I don't care if it's Edmonton, other than Boston Bruins in 2020, every team who's lost the cup, Brownie, none of them have won even more than half their first 10 games. So, So I get it. There's a little bit of a hangover there, but I watch the way the Oilers are playing and the fact they're 28th off of the rush. That's what they're built for. Now and you know where that goes to puck management. The reason they don't create any chances off the rush, go back and watch the Detroit game and see how many times. Like I couldn't believe it because right now I'm really focused on in practice on our teams. You guys, if you can't complete a pass in practice, it's really going to be hard to do it in a game, right? You got to focus on it. Take pride in your passing. Put it on the tape. And so maybe because I'm watching the Oilers game and it's like miss pass. Guy's coming up the wall. He's got all sorts of speed. Puck is behind him. Now he's got to slow down. It ruins everything. And so the fact that they're 28th off of the rush, like they've been a top 5 team creating scoring chances, high danger chances off the rush for years. Because, look, McDavid. And so the fact that they're 28th, that's because McDavid, honestly, in 6 games, has McDavid created one really danger chance off the rush that you can think of? That you just because you could snap our finger and say, "Oh, last game, remember in the second period he did this," and because he's that good. But him and Draisaitl, neither one of them. And I love Draisaitl's honesty. He's always very honest. He just says, "Hey, man, I'm not really seeing it right now. I'm not feeling it." And when your top guys aren't, it's hard for everybody else. And so we'll see. And now it can be one snap of the finger, Brownie. They score one goal, like when Draisaitl scored there 5-on-5 on a really nice pass from Kulak. I was like, "Oh." Yeah. That did seem to wake him up. And the last 12 minutes, and I'm guessing if I'm Coach Knobloch, because today was a day off for them because they just played back-to-back. So they had a day off today. And if he has a film tomorrow, if I was a coach, because, and there's 82 games, you have film session all the time, I would show him the last 12 minutes and say, boys, we played with pace here for the first time really outside of the Vancouver game, definitely the first time on the road trip, where we played with pace up and down the ice, completing passes, and just show them all the highlights. So the guy, oh, look at that pass. Look at that pass. Here we go. You could, at least you can show them the Draisaitl goal. So you got a goal in there. And maybe that'll be in their head.
But they were emotionally invested in the game for the last 10 minutes, right? They were checking better. They were more into it. If you want to have better passes right? and better executions, but I thought they were more invested in the game. And if you want to have better passes and better execution, you got to get invested in the game right away. Whether it's, in some way you have to build something of, some type of energy to get into the game. And when you do that, I mean, any minor hockey team or any player, when they're invested, all the other areas of your game start to get better.
The one guy I would like to see, because the one thing Corey Perry did very well last year was when the bench was quiet or there was nothing going on, he would find a way to get some energy into the game, right? He would grab a guy in a scrum. I think he fought 6 times in the course. So think about it. That's once like every 11, 12 games. It's not a crazy number here. We're not asking guys to go nuts, but Harry knew how to say, okay, you know what? Nobody's feeling it tonight. But the one thing that will get guys going is suddenly everybody's in a scrum, right? Now there's some yapping and all of a sudden you've been quiet and now it's like, she's not really in the game. And now the guy's yapping to my teammate. Whoa, that's not allowed. And you get into the game. And so I look at Trent Frederick and I'm like, dude, I need to see a little bit of that. Like, there's not many guys in the league to do. That's the other thing. When you're 6'3", 215 in today's NHL, you can bully 80% of the league where they'll probably be checking to see if their skate laces are untied, right? I haven't seen one. I'd like to see him in Ottawa. I look and say, you know what? We got to try to send a message here and do some different things. First shift of the game, and I'm just going to come in. They're going to snow the goalie. I'm not getting a penalty, but at least there's a pushing match. Okay, let's try to get some energy in here, because you're right. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of any time. Well, maybe there was one in the was it the Vancouver game? I think there was one in the Vancouver game, but that's really it, Brownie. Like on this road trip, the Ranger game, no.
Yeah.
Right? The Islander game, no. New Jersey, definitely not. And I didn't see anything in Detroit. Like, it's been a very much a no-hitter, no-edge type of start to the season.
And good on you. A great example is Corey Perry, right? That guy was a superstar in the league. He's getting older, but he's found a way to add value towards the end of his career, because there's, I don't know if young athletes understand how they can reinvent themselves a little bit, right? And add, a layer to their game to keep them in the league, right? And that's where I think, it's some of those bottom six guys have to be able to. Scoring a goal is great. That's one way of helping, but there's got to be other ways, and that you could add those layers to your game so that you can become valuable. Like a guy like Corey Perry at the end of his career, he's only playing in the league because he's more willing to figure out, different ways that he can impact the game. Right. And it's amazing. I mean, you look at that. I think it was in the third period against Detroit. There was a scrum that Mangiapane. Did you see that when there was a little bit of a scrum and he's in there mucking it up, and there's two Detroit guys, if not three, maybe. They're in the scrum. You can't find an Oiler guy.
Oh, dude.
Nobody's there.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't like the look of that. I don't like the look of that in a game that needs some energy, and a team that's, relies heavily on their superstars. They're going to get them out of this, right? But there's opportunities for other guys to get in there and help, create some energy, so that it turns around. And you don't wait till the third period. We don't wait till Draisaitl and McDavid eventually find their game, which they will. Like, other guys got to find a way to help out.
833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, right now, McDavid button hook all the time. He's got to drive to the net every now and then from Marty. Won't disagree with that. Guys, I have to agree with Gregor, too. Too many passes into the feet, but I think it's just rust. They'll sharpen it up. Also, Frederick needs to start some stuff to get the energy going from Bill. Wholeheartedly agree. Hey, guys, they've been outworked. McDavid, Draisaitl haven't been the best players on the ice yet in any game from Brian. And that is true, right? Like, that's what I said earlier in the show. Like, when you have two of the best players in the world, there's going to be 5 to 10 games a year where each one of them is the most dominant player on the ice and they control the game. And that hasn't happened yet. Like, I can't even think of a game where really they were even close to it. So, and Draisaitl, to his credit, said, hey, hasn't been there. Some people wonder, hey, are they fatigued? Are they tired? They might be. Like, might be more, I would think maybe more mental than physical at this point, Brownie.
Yeah, for sure. It's more mental. Yeah. Like, they played a lot of hockey.
Yeah.
Right. And, they're definitely elite athletes and in great, exceptional shape. But I mean, it's not easy to play in this league, and it doesn't matter who you are. These guys are in phenomenal shape, but there is a mental side to the game that is a grind.
Yeah, for sure. We'll take a quick break. Dan Rosen joins us next. We'll go around the NHL. Lots of stories around the league. Bad news for Vegas. Mark Stone, if you saw it, he's off to an unreal start, but he is out now week to week. That's the new injury report in the NHL, because week to week can literally be 2 weeks up to 10 weeks. We've seen it all. But bad news for Mark Stone. What about Anze Kopitar? The Kings are reeling already, and Kopitar is out. That was, I knew I had to pick 100-point team, and I'm liking my pick of the Kings to not be a playoff team. They're not looking good right now. They can't move the puck at all on the back end. It is a struggle. And now you take out Kopitar, and I just keep saying the one storyline, the longer that goes, is the Kempe watch in LA becomes a fascinating angle to look at. We'll return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
You'll see us digging holes. No, we're not looking for buried treasure. You'll see us digging trenches as well. And no, we're not building a fort. We're GS Construction, and you'll see us in neighborhoods throughout the Edmonton area. So what are we doing? GS Construction provides rehabilitation and upgrade services to Edmonton and surrounding communities. Some of our underground utilities have served us for years and are past their useful lives. We replace them, so they're around for years to come. Find out more at gsconstruction.ca.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
I'm Gene Principe for Legacy Heating and Cooling. If you need a furnace this Halloween, it'd be a grave mistake not to
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
need repair, revampire your furnace. Just
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Legacy has a skeleton of furnaces in stock.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Plus no interest and no principal payments for 1 year when you buy with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
When pumpkins glow and night turns chill, there's one fall treat that fits the bill. A pizza shaped like a jack-o'-lantern with smiling pepperoni pattern. Thin golden crust, so cheesy and tasty. Get yours now, better be hasty. It's only around for a limited time for a spooktacular price, $17.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, yes, it's true. Papa John's Jack-o'-lantern Pizza is coming for you. Spookily and proudly locally owned and operated.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Are you looking for an affordable business, group, or team outing this season? Why not catch the excitement of a game with the 5-time Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints? With extremely affordable group and suite packages available and some of the lowest food and drink prices around, Saints games are the perfect night for your next group event. Get your group in on the action. For more information, visit sgsaints.ca.
Hi, I'm Al Hamilton, first captain of the Edmonton Oilers. Prostate cancer is the most common cancer in men, and here in Alberta, we're fighting back. This November, every dollar you give helps the Prostate Cancer Center fund early detection, testing, and life-saving support right here in our province. Let's keep it in Alberta for our fathers, brothers, husbands, and friends. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to start your men's health fundraiser or donate today. Together, we can look after the men in our community. Thank you for your support.
A Monday warrior me.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.327 Sports 1440, Sports1440.ca. How are you? Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley. It is big game day tonight. Game 7, the Jays and the Mariners. You can listen to the game right here at the conclusion of our show. First pitch will be at about 6:08 Edmonton time. Check it out on Sports 1440. The Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. As it's time now to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And oh, baby, one of the favorite games that you play every year is back. And it's Monopoly with the more chances than ever to win. You can peel on the pack and then peel in the app for an extra chance to win. Get ready to peel like a winner. Only at McDonald's for another 3 weeks. As Dan Rosen from NHL.com, senior writer, joins us. And Dan, we are 2 weeks into the regular season. There's lots of positive stories. There's lots of teams kind of like, uh-oh, where are we going? I guess I'll start with the unfortunate news, and it's in the Pacific Division. 2 key injuries, but on 2 teams that are going in very different direction. The LA Kings are in the ditch already, and now they've lost Kopitar for multiple weeks. Meanwhile, Vegas is at the top. They're playing great, but they've lost Mark Stone for multiple weeks.
Yeah.
Look at both of those teams, and how concerned do you think they are in LA, with the start, and now you throw in the Kopitar injury?
Well, I mean, for both of those teams, I think, it's fairly obvious. I think the Golden Knights are able to withstand an injury to Mark Stone more than the LA Kings are able to withstand an injury to Andrei Kopitar. And I'll be honest with you, Jason, like I didn't love the Kings coming into the season.
Yeah,
I didn't pick them to make the playoffs.
No.
I looked at them and I'm like, are they going to get the same goaltending that they got last year? They don't have Gavrikov now, right? I mean, that was a big loss for that team. Like, he's with the Rangers now. That's a big loss for that team. I didn't love their free agency. I don't think they brought in any difference makers in their free agency. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, all right, they're riding, this is a Kopitar season, right? I mean, let's see, maybe they may play on emotion of Andrei Kopitar's last season and you ride yourself into the playoffs that way. They were a 100-point team a year ago, so you'd think that they could do that. But I didn't love the team, and now without Kopitar there too, you kind of lose that whole element as well. So I think it's going to be hard for them to withstand it, especially with the start that they've had. Whereas I look at the Golden Knights and I'm just like, you know what? That seems like it's a train that's just going to keep on moving forward.
Yeah, it's unfortunate though with Stone. He just always seems to finally get nicked up. And that one, I don't know if you saw that play. He literally just got tripped and fell on his hand awkwardly.
Yeah,
and now,
I know.
Yeah,
tough. It's a rough one.
It is. It's just, it's tough for him, especially because that line, him and Jack Eichel are absolutely shredding the league. Eichel 15 points in 6 games. Stone has 13 in 6 games. Like, they were killing teams 5-on-5. So I'll be curious to see who gets the boost up there. Another guy who's off to a good start, and a team that's off to a good start, and their fans are like, they're probably saying, finally, they got the old CC Peniston song that's blaring in there around that city right now. The Detroit Red Wings are 5-1. Dylan Larkin's playing great. Both of their goalies after the first game, Talbot won 3 in a row. Now Gibson's won 2 in a row. They're playing very well. Do you think the Red Wings are finally going to get back to the playoffs?
And look at this. Alex DeBrincat has no goals yet.
Yeah.
Too. Okay. Right. And he's a goal scorer for them. Listen, I didn't pick them to make the playoffs, but you look at points in a season. We always do this and say that was a moment, right? That was a moment where things turned, and we do this. We flash back a lot towards the end of the season or when a team gets on a roll, whatever it might be. Is the Detroit Red Wings moment game 1 of their season when Todd McClellan basically came out and said, enough is enough. And I'm sure they're all telling you it's not good enough. Well, this has been going on for a long time now. When are we going to change it? Let's change it right now. And since that moment, which was, I think it was the day after, or it was post game or the day after their opener in Montreal, they lose to the Montreal Canadiens, they've won 5 games in a row. And it's a small sample size, but you're looking at a team that looks different right now. And maybe that is the moment for the Detroit Red Wings. Maybe that was it. And it happened on their, right after their first game of the season, but they look good. This is a team that, listen, I mean, they're not going to get the benefit of the doubt, right? I mean, like, they start to slump a little bit. You're not going to get the benefit of the doubt. Like, oh, well, look at what they did. They've got to continue on. They're not going to win every game that they play. So they're going to go through hiccups, but they've got what they need to do, and they're doing it. All of these teams that are sort of in that middle, right? The ones that are trying to get out of it and fight into it, they need to get off to a good start. Well, here you go. Build yourself a little bit of a cushion. And that's what the Detroit Red Wings are in the process now of doing.
Doug, with it being an Olympic year, in the Olympic management staff watching for different players, is there anyone, I know it's early, but is there anyone that's maybe looking like they might play themselves onto the roster that you've seen?
It's funny. Somebody brought up to me the other day, look at Matthew Schaefer. Like, could he? No, I don't believe he's on Canada's list, so I don't think he can. So I don't think so. The guy I'm looking at, and I was looking at him before the season, is Clayton Keller. To me, Clayton Keller, he wasn't on the Four Nations roster. Then he goes to the Worlds with Team USA, and I mean, he was probably one of the last cuts for the Four Nations roster, but he goes to the Worlds. And he's the captain of Team USA, and they go and win it for the first time in 92 years. And he has 10 points in 10 games. And now you look at him, he's got, I think it is 6 points in the last 2 games. The Utah Mammoth looked pretty good. Yes, it just so happens I have a story on Clayton Keller coming out tomorrow, by the way, on NHL.com. So that's why his name came to mind, however. But I still think he's the one I looked at the start of the season, before the season. Like, this guy is the guy that I think, you remember at the Four Nations, Team USA had guys like Brock Nelson and Vincent Trocheck and Chris Kreider, and all were worthy. I had no issues honestly with any of them. But now as you look towards the Olympics, maybe you're looking at some other guys as well. And Keller being one of those guys. And I think another one is Cole Caulfield too. I mean, Cole Caulfield, 5 goals in 6 games right now.
There's a few different new coaches, Quenneville, Foote in Vancouver, Sullivan with the Rangers, and Dan Muse with Pittsburgh. Is there anyone in this early season that you can is there any of the teams that you see playing a little different, taking a different approach that you like?
Well, I like what I've seen from Pittsburgh. It's very early, but it goes to, 2 things. Number one, it goes to show you that Sidney Crosby can be really good in any situation. Okay, which is not surprising. But I think the mentality there in Pittsburgh has been good. Like, there's energy when I thought that there wouldn't be. And how long does it last? I don't know. But Dan Muse is there. He's known for being very loud in practice. I remember, listen, the last 2 years he coached, it was an assistant under Peter Laviolette with the New York Rangers. And I saw a number of their practices. And the one voice you hear booming all the time was Dan Muse. So he's active, he's energetic, and this is his first chance too as a head coach. And I think not a lot of people looked at that hire and was like, oh, blown away by it. If they were, it might have been in the wrong direction. But he's a solid coach for a long time now that's getting his first chance. And I like the energy that they've had there in Pittsburgh. And listen, Mike Sullivan, the Rangers are snake bit. Okay, like they're trying to score their first home goal tonight. They've been shut out in 3 games, but they're generating chances. They're generating high danger looks. They're getting them. And they finally broke through in Montreal the other night where they won the game and they came back, and maybe that carries into their home schedule. But they're playing a style that is conducive to winning. Last year, they were playing a style that was conducive to losing. Just the way they were playing. And now it looks like they're playing more of a winning style. The question is, do they have enough finish on the team? And are they deep enough to where they have enough finish? And so far, that's been that was a question going into the season. And it's, 7 games into the season for them, it's played out that way. But 4 goals the other night against Montreal, finally broke through. Panarin at 4 points. Let's see if they can carry it into a home game tonight against the Wild and finally score their first home goal of the season.
Are you a believer of either the Canadiens, the Penguins, the Kraken, or Canucks?
I'm a believer in the Canadiens. I wasn't at the start of the season, and I know we're only, a couple weeks in, but they were a team that I looked at in the entire offseason and through training camp and the preseason schedule and all that. My thought on them was they caught fire after the Four Nations last year and rolled with it and maybe took 2 steps ahead of where where we all expected them to be and maybe where they should be. And then they get into the playoffs and they gave Washington fits, but they lost in 5. And I thought to myself, maybe this is the type of team that they take a step back this season to take 2 steps forward. Like they all start to learn and understand of what it's like to be a playoff team and what it's like to be a team that teams are getting up for, right? In the past couple of years, they haven't been that team. And I thought to myself, that's where they'd be. Well, I think I'm wrong. Okay. I mean, it's only 6 games into the season, but I mean, you can admit a mistake when you make one, and they look exciting, energetic. They have a go mentality. I think they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot all year long. I don't think they're ever going to be comfortable, but I think that they are a team that will get in again. And they look to me like, I think they're so well coached, and they look to me like a team that's got a ton of energy, and now putting it, carrying but what they did at the end of last season into this season instead of taking a step back after what they did last season.
When you look at Stoller's comments with the Toronto Maple Leafs about getting run, I was talking earlier with Kevin Woodley, and I feel like Stuart Skinner last year, had his fair number of guys crashing the net, running into him. Do you think this is something that the league might need to look at and address, or is this something that each team needs to address individually to try and get, a level of respect back from players? Because it seems like to me they just feel overly confident of going to the net knowing nothing's going to happen.
Well, I think that's on the team than it is more the league. As long as it's within the rules, and sometimes, those can be debated if you want, and we can have, you can have that debate on every instance that you see it. But overall, if the goalie is constantly under siege, and the goalie constantly feels like there's guys in his face and in his kitchen, right? All that stuff, then, you want your team to have a little bit of response. This game allows for it, right? In a way, it allows for it. You don't want to see goalies get hit illegally. And I understand where Stolar's frustration comes from. I get it. But I think the league looks at it. I think they look at it all the time. So I don't think that's the concern. I think the league has a full awareness of this. They've taken measures to protect the goaltenders. Those measures are in place, and they're in use a lot of the time. And sometimes the team has to take, I'm not advocating for fighting or anything like that, but the team has to fight back. And I don't mean drop the gloves. I mean, get a little bit more fire, if you will.
Yeah.
And that's on the team. That's not on anybody else.
Dan, great stuff as always, buddy. Enjoy the next week. We'll talk to you again soon. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
There you go. That's Dan Rosen joining us from NHL.com. There are some interesting storylines around the league. The Seattle Kraken, they're 3-0-2. That 4 of their 5 games have gone to overtime, and you win a few of them. That's good. They are playing better. They look completely different under their new head coach. I had heard that there wasn't a lot of belief in the room under Dan Bosman. Not necessarily a guy that many people were rooting for as players.
That surprises me. I really, years ago when he was coaching Pittsburgh, I really enjoyed his practices. I loved his energy, and I loved the overall team energy. And that culture obviously would start with him. But I thought he was the next up-and-coming coach. I don't see what happened.
Who knows? I always wondered, does a culture start with the coach, or does it start with your lead players who will be there before the coach, right? Crosby, Malkin, Fleury. I always wonder, right? Like, are those guys would set.
Well, those guys were young too, right? And so someone had to help them.
Yeah, but they had Bill Guerin on that team, and they had a lot of veterans. But and that's also Brownie. That's 16 years ago.
Yeah.
So
I just thought
you're just older than dirt base, is what we're saying now. And how some guys don't evolve, right? Like they do something one way. Oh yeah, it works, and then they're just like, what? Now I've won. I know everything, and like it's interesting how some you talk to players who had a coach early in this career, and then the coach later in his career. And the ones that are evolving and always doing that, they say, but they've seen some coaches that's like, now I know everything, and that never works.
I know, and I think the biggest change is the communication part, and so if I'm older in dirt and it was 16 years ago, that has changed, and I thought maybe he was ahead, because it just looked like just the atmosphere and the way he did talk, and obviously I'm looking from the outside, but he looked like he, would be a good players coach and someone that you'd want to play for.
Yeah. 3:43. We'll come back. We got the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. Steve Gardner's on long later. Mark Spector. We'll get to the oil report. Day off again for the Edmonton Oilers. Of course, losing in New Jersey and Detroit on the weekend. Not great performances by the Edmonton Oilers. You can go up and down the lineup, and especially at the top of the lineup, they need some guys playing better, guys in the middle, coaching staff, you name it, right? Like the Oilers are a lot of, especially offensively. To me right now, offense is their biggest area of weakness, which is surprising to say because it's the Edmonton Oilers, but they're not scoring enough. They're not creating enough, and they got to improve there. I think obviously when they start to get more chances, eventually they'll score more, but they're not creating that many chances and not many high danger chances at all. We'll return to the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Elks Spectacular is back, presented by Goodwill. October 24th versus the Calgary Stampeders, featuring pumpkin carving contest and more. Plus, we're collecting donations supporting Edmonton Women's Shelter Win House. Tickets at goelks.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 furnace replacement company for zombie hunters. Those who know their old decrepit furnace passed away years ago. Its decaying husk shuffling around now as the furnace. Legacy Heating will send your undead furnace to its grave, replacing it with no payments and no interest for 1 year. Protect your legacy from the beast in the basement. It's time to destroy the furnace of the dead.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Whoa, who turned off all the lights? Experience the new charcoal menu at Booster Juice.
Charcoal menu?
Introducing the Eclipse Smoothie, Blackout Booster Mixer, and Midnight Booster Ball.
Where's that voice coming from?
Dark and delicious, made with activated charcoal.
Can we please turn the lights back on?
Sorry, I'm just excited about the new charcoal menu.
Wow, that is good.
Right?
Available now only at Booster Juice.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
It's a new season, Edmonton, which means it's time for new offers. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. This is your chance to score big. And for a limited time only, our listeners can get an exclusive $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for an exclusive $50 free bet. Alberta wins with Play Alberta. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, please use your game sense. PlayAlberta.ca.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Hey there, this is your wake-up call. It's time to change to your winter tires. Unless you want to be sliding and swerving around icy roads like you're some kind of dummy. Head to Big Toy Shop and get it done right for a great price. We won't lie to you, inflate your bill, or waste your time. Time to change your tires. Big Toy Shop, 8315 Argyle Road. 780-298-2797.
Prostate cancer affects 1 in 6 men in Alberta, and this November we're fighting back. Every dollar raised fuels early detection and life-saving support. Donate today for the men in our province. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to start your fundraiser or donate today.
Noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, 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 nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood.
Throw the load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
She says she's no good with words, but I'm worse. But started out a joke of a romantic stuck to my tongue. Way down with words too over dramatic.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
348. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We got lots coming up on the show. Steve Gardner will join us. Of course, we'll preview Game 7 tonight. The Jays and the Mariners. We'll have that game right here on Sports 1440. First pitch is 6:08. Speck will be joining us a little bit later on. We'll probably play you the Leon Draisaitl clip after the game because I think that explains very accurately where he's at, where he thinks the team is at, and how they have to get things moving in the right direction. But first, let's get to the 2-minute warning brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They are hiring. If you want to work for a great company with great benefits, you get a hiring bonus, you get RSP matching, tuition reimbursement, and they love sports. So it's a great opportunity to grow. Go to legacyheating.ca and apply today. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. Cam, of course, born with cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair. And due to his disability, was never able to be on radio. Always wanted to, but until now, through the wonders of technologies, Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
I bet the Edmonton Oilers, somewhere high above the Great Lakes, maybe on the big bird with a cast iron tail, leaned back in their seats after that forgettable performance Sunday in Motor City. Broom, broom, my dear chap. And said the foremost Canadian words in hockey travel. Make it a double. And hark, the Toronto Blue Jays must have heard them, because they delivered. A clean sweep, feathered and polished right off the Rogers Centre carpet. Somewhere in a quiet Ottawa lounge, a bartender, sleeves rolled, polishing glassware, looked up and asked that eternal question. Would you like another double? They smiled, politely nodded. So did the baseball gods, somewhere between innings and irony. In sport, and in life, redemption often comes with a refill, but only if you've learned from the first round. A double play, oh, my friend, that sacred dance of leather and lightning, begins with a crack, skips through the dust, and finds a glove like fate finding its mark. One scoop, one spin, one whip across the diamond. Bang, bang, 2 gone. The crowd gasps, then roars. Momentum, bold, brash, swaggering, suddenly trips over its own shoelaces and sits down. Game 6, Sunday, Seattle Mariners. Bottom of the 3rd, the plot thickened. A walk, a clang off the wall, and another free pass painted the corners with nerves for the Jays. Cal Raleigh strode up, menace in his eyes. First pitch, splitter, diving wickedly. Grounder, Guerrero scoops, flips to Jimenez, relay to Yasavage, double play! Rogers Centre erupted in blue thunder. Then, the very next inning, the Mariners' J.P. Crawford, more patient this time, watched 2 strikes float by before rolling a soft grounder to Kiner Falefa. The Blue Jays' second baseman added a touch of flair, flipping to Jimenez, who pivoted smoothly and fired to first for another inning-ending double play. So Game 7 a Watts. I have a sneaking suspicion Blue Jay fans will celebrate tonight, with perhaps a triple. 2-minute warning, Gregor Halley Kruger. Is he awake over there in his little corner? Tate. Weekdays, Sports 1440.
It was something MLB had never seen before. A team that had back-to-back double plays with bases loaded in consecutive innings. Then they followed up with a third one with a runner on first, of course. So 3 innings in a row ended by double play, just something you don't see very often. It was great defense by the Jays. Savage being able to pitch to induce ground balls. You had a Barger home run. You had a Vladimir Guerrero home run. Barger had another big single. Clement, of course, a double and a triple. And they continued to get their 7, 8, 9 hitters have been massive in this series. There's no doubt about it. Vladimir Guerrero is obviously playing very well. And really, for the second straight series, the first series, he outdueled Aaron Judge. He was better. And so far in this series, he's been better than Cal Raleigh. If you're just looking at straight plate-up appearances head-to-head, he's been better. Now, the rest of their lineup obviously has been good. It's even. It's 3-3 now. And all bets are off. Anything can happen. I wish I could accurately predict what was going to happen tonight, because then obviously I'd be picking a Jays win, but you don't know. That's why you play. That's what makes it so exciting, and should be a hell of a game. And I just, if Bieber can get out of that first inning without giving up any runs, I think that's huge, because he's been, the first inning, a little bit of trouble, even in the regular season, but then he settles in. And you know what? Obviously, you want to get at least 5 innings out of him, man. If you can get 6, that's huge, because then your options, like, I'm curious, like Hoffman pitched a lot. He pitched great. Like in this series, Hoffman's made 3 appearances, hasn't given up anything. He's been fine. So obviously they're going to want to use Varlin again tonight, but I know they say, hey, all hands on deck, because in theory, you don't play again now till Friday if you win. So, you can, heck, if Gausman has to go, I guess you could go with Kevin Gausman. Like, I understand the need to win, and it's a balance. Like, do we win? And then we worry about game 1, 2, or 3, and they'll figure it out. So, like, I guess worst case scenario, if you have to go with Gausman today, and then maybe he doesn't pitch till game 2 and you Savage pitches game 1, well, then whatever.
Yeah, you got to win. You got to play to win in game 7. Worry about whatever's going to happen down the road.
It's interesting to see, like, would they bring Scherzer out of the bullpen tonight, right? If they needed, like, for an inning, right? Because Mad Max, he's now coming out of the bullpen is different, right? Like, it's outside your comfort zone. It's unlike really other things in sports. Like when you're in the NHL, there's 12 fours, there's 6 defensemen, everybody warms up. Now you're in the game, right? Like there's not all of a sudden like, hey, Brownie, we're going to put you at center in game 7 when you play defense the whole time, right? Like every sport, it just has different nuances, and that's what's unique about it. But coming out of the bullpen, I get the theory behind why you'd think, okay, we're going to do Scherzer out there, but it can be risky when he hasn't been in that situation all year long. Like I can't remember the last time Max Scherzer came out of the bullpen. I'd have to look back on it. Like, when's it happen? I have no idea.
But it sounds like to me, there's a ton of options here for a coach, right? And I think that's obviously important for any team that's going to win. They need to have depth and they need to have options. And this is why, obviously they get paid the big bucks to be the manager that's going to make that decision in that moment. Not only, obviously it's proven that it doesn't work every time, but yeah, it's a lot of good storylines going into the game, a lot of nerves. It'll be exciting to see, who kind of gets in there and gets that opportunity. And like every team needs someone's going to be stepping up and being the hero. Who it is, I don't know.
Hey guys, can we talk a little bit about fights being up and how cool that is? Well, last year there was 297 fights in the NHL. There had been 311 the year prior to that, 334, 331. So it had gone down a bit. 20 through 2 weeks, so it's basically 10 a week. I'm not sure it's up because there's only 26 weeks in the season, right? Or it's close. Yeah, so I'd have to look if is it really up that much game to game. Like there's been 20 fights, which is good.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I like that physical. Like let's get that part of the game back in.
I'm totally with you.
And the guys that are fighting, I don't know. I'm obviously out of the loop, and I don't know who everyone is, but they're.
Did you see that Castilic O'Brien fight?
The size of these guys, like they're massive.
So, yeah, well, but there's always big guys, man. Like you look at George Larac, Derek Boogaard, like those guys are huge.
Oh yeah, they're big. It just seems like there's more. Those guys there was less of them. It just seems like to me, like I seen that Olivier, the tough guy for Columbus there.
But he's not like 6
No, I know. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like I'm watching him fight the guy and I'm like, who is this guy? Where did he come from? Like, could you imagine fighting those guys?
Well, he fought Douglas from Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah.
So Douglas is basically a career minor leaguer guy that they claimed on waivers. And I think they claimed him on waivers after what happened in the preseason against Florida, right? And they're like, we're not letting that happen again, which I totally
love
don't.
it.
I don't mind it at all. But like you look at the guys like, Lomberg's not very big and he'll fight anybody. Brandon Duhaime, I'm just looking at guys who have fought this year, but no, Brian's big. Cast. Like I'm not sure that there's not as many big, tough guys as there was, I think, in the late 90s, like when you guys played. Like, dude, each team had 2 or 3 guys who were 6'3", 220 who would fight.
Yeah.
Like teams don't have that now.
Yeah.
Right?
But I mean, it's good to see that area of the game, there's an importance to it and there's a need for it because I mean, the game is in a great spot as far as the skill and the speed. If we can keep that physicality part to it, it just makes it so much more enjoyable to watch.
Oh, I'm wholeheartedly with you that I think the emotion of the game, and none of these guys, like they're all big and they're strong, but guys aren't spending their whole offseason training in the boxing ring like a lot of those guys used to, right? They play 4 minutes a night. And you're like, I got to be as tough as I can. I'm doing boxing training all the time.
Yeah.
And Not so much. Like now, like you mentioned Delorier. Delorier's in Philly, but Olivier in Columbus. Like Olivier scores 15 goals, kills penalties. Like he plays.
Yeah.
Right. Like thankfully, you're not asking guys to fight and play very minimal time. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what's
and the biggest thing is those guys are very comfortable doing it. Like you're not asking them to do something they're not comfortable with. Like, he just signed an extension, did he not? And he's still eager. He's still hungry.
Oh, God,
right. So
yeah,
the important thing is putting people in situations that they're comfortable with doing, whether it's you're asking them to play a skilled role, a heavy, uncomfortable role that might include fighting. When you get guys comfortable and slotted in where they should be and what they're comfortable doing, it just makes a big difference.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with it. And I think, Edmonton could use a little bit of added emotion in some of their games right now. Puck management, I still think is the biggest one, but a little bit added emotion. Darnell Nurse, Trent Frederick, Pod Colson. I don't go down the list. I don't care.
Yeah.
Get a bantamweight
All
fight.
that stuff takes care of itself when you have the guys that will drag you into the emotional part of the game.
Yeah, I think that's totally valid. Totally valid. 3:59. Let's get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. You need tires now, but your wallet isn't ready. At Fountain Tire, they got you covered with 0% financing for 6 months or easy payments of 12. Again, no interest all year long at fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
We've got a Game 7 out in Toronto as the Jays and Mariners meeting in the ALCS. Winner this one advancing to the World Series to take on the LA Dodgers. First pitch, 6:10. We'll have part here on Sports 1440, radio feed only, getting going at 6. In the NHL, 5 games on the ice. Rangers host the Wild, Kraken in Philly. Canadians taking on the Sabres, the Jets in Calgary, and Golden Knights hosting the Carolina Hurricanes. Week 7 in the NFL concludes this evening with a doubleheader. We're 1 hour away from the Lions meeting the Bucks in Detroit. Then at 8 o'clock, you got the Seahawks taking on the Texans. Montreal Alouettes signing GM Danny Machocha and head coach Jason Moss the 2-year contract extension. And in the CEBL, Commissioner Mike Morelli stepping down from his role. He's been the commissioner of the league since they tipped off in 2018. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll ask 5 questions. Also, we'll talk some Major League Baseball with Steve Gardner of USA Today. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Fall in the savings at Wolf GMC Buick. For a very limited time, get 0% on every 2025 Buick and GMC, including the all-new Buick Envista, the Encore, Envision, and Enclave. For the GMCs, 0% on 2025s like the Sierra Half-Ton, Sierra HD, even the Yukons. Get 0% on all 2025s. Plus, get up to 84 months on the GMC Sierra Half-Ton Crew Cab. But like the leaves, these deals won't last long. Get into Wolf GMC Buick now.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
He's a legend in the booth and a master on the mic. Low Tide brings the banter weekdays from noon to 2. Sports 1440 is where Edmonton talks sports. Get in the game. Text 833-401-1440.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
Bring in the new year with a Canadian country legend. December 31st, in concert at the Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Brett Kissel.
Fox.
Multiple CCMA and Juno Award winner. Platinum selling.
Welcome back to the Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
New year
Or
in
Sports.
Alberta, country style. Bring your friends, your cowboy boots, and your party spirit for a night full of hits, celebrations, and
You'll see it.
unforgettable memories. The countdown to 2026 starts with Brett Kissel
Sports
live on stage.
1440.ca. How are you,
Tickets
Jason
now
Gregor?
at silentiCenter.com/events.
Prostate cancer affects
Connor
1 in
Halley,
6
Sports
men in
1440.
Alberta. And this November, we're fighting back. Every dollar raised fuels early detection and life-saving support. Donate today for the Men in Our province. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to start your fundraiser or donate today.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780-all-7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
An electrical solar team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy. Designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Enjoy a taste of Hawaii with Papa John's Aloha Trio. Try the classic Hawaiian, Super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken pizzas for only $19.99 at papajohns.ca or the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's after 4 o'clock. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Remind you that, of course, Jays, slight favorite tonight, taking on Seattle in Game 7. Also, tomorrow, your chance to maybe get a little lucky at PlayAlberta.ca. $25 million up for grabs in Lotto Max. PlayAlberta.ca. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. We'll get to more text. Steve Gardner's going to join us from MLB. We'll get to Draisaitl in a second. We do have a few more texts. The other thing we haven't touched on was the Elks, as their season, their playoff hopes officially ended in BC on Saturday night. It was 10-10 at the half, and third quarter ultimately crushed the green and gold in that game. You know what? It was close. Well, really, if you look at it, BC scored late in the first half, got the 2-point convert, and then they had the pick six early in the third quarter, and then Nathan Rourke had that massive touchdown run, and it was pretty much a good night, Irene. After that, unfortunately for the Elks, was that a 70-yard touchdown? You don't see a 70-yard touchdown run very often by a QB, but that's what happened to Rourke. That third quarter was just unfortunate for 10 minutes, and that really changed the whole game for Edmonton. They ended up, I know they scored a touchdown late in the quarter, but it was basically 17 unanswered points, and that was it for the Elks and their season to make the playoffs. They do have one final game against the Calgary Stampeders, and you know what, they can play spoiler against the Stampeders, who are battling with BC for home field advantage in the because Saskatchewan's going to get the bye. BC and Calgary, one of them is going to finish second. The other one isn't guaranteed yet, but because Winnipeg, if they win their game, they could be 10-8, and then Calgary, if they lose to Edmonton, they're 10-8. And then we got to get into tiebreakers, etc. We do know that somebody from the West, one of BC, Calgary, or Winnipeg, is going to East. Although I'm not sure BC can. I have to double check on it, but And Hamilton and Montreal also 10-7. So you got 4 teams 10-7. Saskatchewan's 12-5, and Winnipeg is 9-8. So I think it's wide open. You know, Hamilton's taking on Ottawa. Montreal and Winnipeg, both teams have to win that game. And then Saskatchewan and BC, that's a huge game as well on Saturday night. Now, Saskatchewan, they got nothing to play for, but you didn't play any of your starters this past week. You're going to do that again and then get the bye? Now we're talking you haven't played any of your guys in a month? Like, eek, I'm not sold. I'm a big fan of doing that. So we'll see. But BC goes into Saskatchewan. Edmonton, of course, Friday night will host the Stampeders for their final game of the season. And I expect a lot of carryover to next year for the Green and Gold's roster. I don't think you're going to see massive change. There are going to be some. I think the big question is, what's their plan going to be at quarterback? Cody Fajardo, do you still feel you can develop Trey Ford? If not, are you trading Trey Ford for another young quarterback who's developing somewhere else? We'll see, right? Ford, is probably going to have to renegotiate his contract, I would think, based on the fact that he didn't really play this year. And that leads to the other question. Would you play Trey Ford Friday night, Connor Halley?
Yes. Yeah, I would. I want to see what he's got. Like, you've been watching from the sideline. You've been watching these film sessions. You've been seeing what a veteran like Cody Fajardo does when it comes to making his reads and, when to bring the football down and run with it and when to try to take a throw or giving a player a chance to make a play. So I certainly would. And I don't know how they're going to handle it. I would think I would be in conversation with Fajardo saying, hey, we want you back next year. Like, we want you here, but we want to see what Trey can do. So I don't know if that's something that would upset him or how much it would really impact anything. It is kind of a nothing game for Fajardo if you tell him that we want you back. But I would like to see Trey Ford get out there. I was kind of thinking maybe at the end of that game when it got out of hand, throw him out there and let him see what he can do. But I think you have that investment in Trey Ford for the time being. Like you said, you could redo his contract and things can change in the offseason. It will almost certainly change in the offseason. But, see what does he learn in this process?
Well, there's other things at play here too, Cons. You can play him and, it gives other teams an opportunity to see, okay, what's this guy done this year? Like if we're looking at a possible trade potentially, because they got nothing to play for in the standings. Now, you always want to win every game you can, so I get all that. But, Calgary's going to be coming in. Calgary's going to want to win that game, so they'll be ready to go. And that's, to me, is what's great about it is you're going to play Trey Ford in a game that means a lot to the opposition. So it's not like you're playing Ottawa and both teams are dressing backups or everybody else. And you're like, well, this is like a late season preseason game. You wouldn't have that. Calgary's coming here. They want to win. So I think it would be a good opportunity. You know what you have in Cody Fajardo. Like, are you going to learn something on Friday night that you don't know? So and if they don't start Trey Ford or even play him, like, I don't know, maybe they're going to start Cody and just say, hey, Cody, we're going to let you start at home. And then Trey Ford comes in the second quarter, whatever. I'm not sure why you do that. But if they don't play Trey Ford, is that pretty much telling everybody like he's not part of the future? I would think so. Right? If he doesn't play, you got to think that they don't see him as part of the future at all. Hey, boys, I was really looking forward to seeing Trent Frederick this season. I watched him with Boston. He seemed like a madman. Even the game when he fought Perry, he was involved in most of the scrums. So far this year, he's become a perfect gentleman on the ice. Craig, we talked about it. He's a guy now. Like, and part of it is understanding your role at different times. And on this team, now Trent Frederick, you know what? He's got a goal. Great. It's a pretty big goal, but you need more, right? You need some big hits. Get in a scrum, get some for a team that's lacking in emotion because they don't have a lot of highly emotional players. They just don't. And that, that hasn't hurt them. They've steamrolled through the West, right? So it's, hey, they met up against Florida, and then they didn't have Hyman, who was hitting everything that moved prior to that. And it became infectious. And they had Matthias Ekholm, who wasn't close to Matthias Ekholm, and at times a little bit of a detriment in the playoffs. It's not a knock on him because he's a really good player. That's just how it was at that time. But they don't have a lot of those players. So the guys who do it, sometimes you got to pull some other guys in there. Right? Anybody out there listening, you got one of your buddies and suddenly he gets into something and there's two or three other, you're like, oh, God, I got to get in there just because he's my buddy and I got to help protect him. It happens. Now, I'm not saying that Frederick needs protection, but he elevates the emotion of the game. or at least he should be. And that's just another element that's being lacking. You can't do it every night in the NHL. I understand. No one scores a goal every night. I don't expect them to do it every night, but it's 6 games, and I haven't seen it. And that just goes on to the list of things we haven't seen. Top guy's not playing good enough. Bouchard has to play better. Nurse has to play better. Ekholm needs to play better. Go down the list. Henrique, I'm not sure there's one player I can look and say, you know what? I love everything about their game. They've been great. Nothing to complain about. Probably the closest would be Nugent Hopkins, right? Nugent Hopkins got 4 goals, played centers, played wings, doing whatever you want, but he'd probably be the one guy who, I guess if you had to pick, who's been the most consistent player through 6 games, I think we can all agree it'd be Ryan Nugent Hopkins. I can't think of anybody else. Can you? I can't. So to me, that's where they're at, but they got to get going here in a lot of different ways. And meeting Ottawa, the end of a road trip, it might be a little bit of a saving grace because they are leaking goals all over the place. 5 goals against per game thus far. Their environment hasn't been good, as Kevin Woodley talked about. They've been giving up tons of quality chances, like bottom 3 or 4 in off the rush, odd man rush chances. So, and in theory, like those are where the Oilers, those type of like if you give the Oilers chances off the rush, usually they'll kill you. They just haven't been creating very many chances off the rush this year. And that's what they look slow, even though I know they're not a slower team, but they look slow based on how they've played thus far. Like, what are they, 29th in chances, 28th in chances off the rush? 28th. I don't want to make it worse than it is. It's 28th. Still not good enough. Right? They're dead last in rebound shots that go on goal. Basically, man, okay, so if Connor Halley takes a shot. Now I'm in front. I have this. I get the rebound. It's not hitting the net, or I'm not getting the rebound. So 29th is where they sit when it comes to rebound creating chances. So not good at all, and they'll need to be much, much better. You heard Draisaitl say, "Hey, I don't think it's a work ethic thing." He goes, "Just sometimes we're not feeling it." And then he pointed the finger right at himself and said, "I'm not feeling it. I got to get better." Because when your best guys are playing better, that just allows everybody to follow suit. And it's true, right? Like you can have, but it's 6 games. Look at Florida. Florida started out 3-0. They didn't have Barkov, Kachuk, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, yeah." But actually, if you watch, even the underlying numbers in those games were great, and now they've lost 4 in a row. And now they go into Boston. Brad Marchand, that's going to be an emotional game for him and the Panthers tomorrow night. So maybe that kickstarts them a little bit. But there's a few teams, and the Oilers are right in the list of teams that should be good, like Tampa Bay. They've only run one of their first 6 games. I don't think many would have guessed that. The Minnesota Wild, same record as the Oilers, and their power play is unreal. Like their power play has 10 goals, and they've still only scored 2 more goals than the Oilers because it can't score 5-on-5. Right? The Panthers, as I mentioned, they've lost 4 in a row. Like Boston had a good start. They've lost 4 in a row. Now, most of us, it's funny, both those teams were 3-0, and now they've lost 4 straight. So there's only one undefeated team left in the NHL. That's the Carolina Hurricanes. They've won 5 in a row. Detroit has won 5 in a row after losing their season opening game, and then their coach ripped them and said, "Okay, enough's enough." And talk about working. An early season call out by the head coach, and it has worked incredibly well. Hey, Greg, do you know the record the Rangers could... Well, the Rangers already broke a record, Sam, in Leduc, because they're the first team ever to go 3 consecutive games to start a season without scoring a goal. The record is from like 1928. It's the longest stretch because back then you went 60 minutes, and then you played 10 minutes of overtime. And so Pittsburgh went shutout, overtime, didn't score. Shutout, overtime, didn't score. So that was 140 minutes. And then in 47 minutes into the third game is when they finally scored. And that's why they own the record of 187 minutes to start a season without a goal on home ice. And yeah, if the Rangers don't score before the 8-minute mark tonight, well, it's actually like 7:30 or 7:28. I don't know the exact second mark. Then yeah, they'll set a record there. So just the fact that they've already set a record for futility. 3 consecutive games to start at home without a goal. So I tell you, the Rangers scored tonight. Oh my God. If I'm Madison Square Garden, I'm doing something fun. It's your first goal of the year in game freaking 4. Can you imagine that? You're a season ticket holder. You got 3 games. You haven't even seen a goal. What the hell is happening? What is happening? So that would not be ideal. Hey, Greg's, you know where I find the orders are turning the puck over way more than last year. Is it true or is it just an anomaly? Oh, no, it's true. I looked it up. It's actually coming out in my game day notes tomorrow. The Edmonton orders are 4th in the NHL in giveaways so far. Well, per 60, because some teams, like, they have 109 giveaways, which is obviously not good in 6 games. And then you have a team like Chicago has 118, Boston has 115, but they played 7 games. So, the orders, you look at it, 6 games, they're getting about 15 per game. Actually, no, more than 15. What am I talking about? They're getting about 18, 19 per game right now. And it's a lot of their guys. McDavid's giveaways are way up early on in the season. Matthias Ekholm's are way up early in the season compared to last year's numbers. So, and then you go down the list. Ty Emberson, way too many. For a guy who doesn't have the puck that much, he shouldn't be having that many giveaways. It's just not good, right? Which leads me to this text. Hey, Greg's, I heard rumblings, and I think you even talked about it, that the orders are looking to make a trade when guys get healthy. So now that Wallman's back, I think a trade's coming. Well, they still have 2 guys on IR in Janmark and Regula. So they don't have to. When those 2 guys are eligible, somebody's going to have to go on waivers, or I guess they could send down Ike Howard or Tomasic if they wanted to. Somebody go down and doesn't require waivers. I really think it's when Zach Hyman comes back, because when Hyman comes back, now he's coming on the active roster. He doesn't count on the roster right now as an LTIR. And that's where they're going to have to probably get down to a 24-man roster maybe. And so then you'll have at least a few guys going down. So I know people have talked about, well, to trade Ty Emberson, trade Matthias Janmark. And I get it, because if you put them on waivers, you might lose them for nothing. But the opposing teams aren't stupid either. So they look and say, hey, now, maybe someone would claim them before. And that becomes the game of cat and mouse. If a team's like, hey, you know what? We'll give young Ty Emberson a shot here. We'll take him on waivers, free player. Sure. Now, do they love him enough to trade for the guy to ensure they'd get him before he goes on waivers? Because obviously the waiver claim for the first 10 games is based on last year's standings, right? It's not based on this season. So it's based on last year. So even if you're off to a bad start this year, like Tampa Bay and some other teams, you're not getting first waiver claim. San Jose, Chicago, Nashville, Philly, Boston, they were all bottom 5, right? Seattle was in there. I'm trying to go with the draft order in my head. Buffalo, Anaheim, Pittsburgh, New York. I think those are the bottom 10 teams. Because, the Islanders, what did they move from 10 to 1? Yeah, so they had to be 10. So that's where it would be on the waiver wire. So you could say, okay, but how much are you going to get for Ty Emberson? Let's be real here, if he's getting traded. And if you trade him Matthias Janmark, how much are you getting for him? Like, you're just moving him out to try to get a late draft pick rather than give a guy for nothing. Hey, boys, do the guys on IR count on the cap? Yes, they do. IR, yes. Long-term IR, no. So that's why, Wallman, they took him off IR. They don't have to make any moves because they only had 22 players on the roster. Because Regula got put on IR on the weekend, and also Janmark's on IR. So all those guys are already counting on the roster because they have the extra space of LTIR right now. They're using LTIR right now with Zach Hyman. But once he comes off, they got to get out of LTIR, and so he comes under the cap. So that's why they'll have to there'll be some moves. They're going to have to make some moves even before Hyman comes back, just because of roster spots. Right now, they got 23 guys in the roster, and they got 2 on IR. If Janmark, who is supposed to be ready, is he ready by next weekend, argument's sake? Well, then they're going to have to make a move then. And when's Regula ready? We'll see. So they got some moves coming here. So a trade, yeah, it's possible, but don't think like you're not going to be trading him for a player who's in the NHL right now. That would kind of seem a little odd, I guess, unless some team's willing to do it and you really like that other player, then you're going to put someone else on waivers. But yeah, they got some decisions here. And I think part of it, like, Ike Howard's kind of an easy one, doesn't require waivers. You can go down. Right. Curtis Lazar's played 1 game out of 6. So if you have other forwards coming back, is he the guy they want to keep? Maybe, but I don't know. Jake Wallman is obviously, once Regula's activated, then one of the defensemen's got to go down. They're not going to carry 8 defensemen. When we come back, the best 2 words in sports, baby. We'll talk about it on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, your one-stop shop to have some fun. Whether you like lottery, instants, casino, sports, live dealer, they got it all. PlayAlberta.ca.
When you have lifting and material handling needs, Northwest Crane delivers. Western Canada's Sani dealer, backed by the industry's toughest one. 3 years, 3,000 hours, no compromises. They service all crane makes and models with skilled technicians and deep industry expertise. Alberta owned, with locations in Leduc and Grand Prairie, and fully equipped service trucks. Northwest Crane keeps your operation lifting. For more information on sales or service, visit northwestcrane.com or call today.
The madness continues at the Brick. Get your home ready to host. Save up to $1,200 on made in Canada sofas and sectionals, up to 30% off coffee tables and nightstands, and up to 25% off bedroom and dining. Buy more, save more, up to $1,000 off appliances. Hockey season is here, and so are big savings on big screen TVs. Save up to $800, plus get free local delivery on screens over 50 inches. The Brick, saving you more.
Monopoly Double Play is back at McDonald's. So let's practice winning. You just won 25 grand and go.
Yes!
I said 25 grand.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah!
Much better. Okay, now you just won a brand new Chevrolet Corvette. I think she just fainted. Impressive. Feel like a winner on pack and in-app. Monopoly Double Play is back. While supplies last, 1 in 5 chances to win game piece prizes at outset. Chances to win draw prizes depend on number of entries in each draw. Cash prizes payable by e-transfer. See rules in-app.
It's a new season, Edmonton, which means it's time for new offers. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. This is your chance to score big. And for a limited time only, our listeners can get an exclusive $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for an exclusive $50 free bet. Alberta wins with Play Alberta. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, please use your game sense. PlayAlberta.ca.
Prostate cancer affects 1 in 6 men in Alberta, and this November we're fighting back. Every dollar raised fuels early detection and life-saving support. Donate today for the men in our province. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to start your fundraiser or donate today.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio, from weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Well, baby, boys and girls, the 2 best words in sports. Game 7. Woo, mama. I love it. Imagine if the NFL could ever get to a Game 7. That's never going to happen. That's fine. But, man, that's hockey, baseball, basketball. They got it. And Game 7, there is nothing better. It's exciting. You've seen both teams going at it for 6 games. And now we'll have a 7th and deciding one. Tonight, the Jays haven't been in a Game 7 since 1985, and the Mariners, I think this is their first Game 7, Cons, if I'm correct on that. So my next guest can correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I think it is. So we will we'll see what happens tonight. The whole baseball world will be watching. The winner will take on the LA Dodgers in the World Series, which will begin Friday night as We go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. Great local company, 53 years in business, and man, they keep expanding and growing, and they are hiring second, third, and fourth year electricians. Looking for a wonderful opportunity? It's very easy. Submit your resume, careers@actionelectrical.net. Good luck. As Steve Gardner from USA Today joins us. And Steve, these are the games. Everybody is, you're right in the sporting world. You're in radio. You want to cover them. You want to watch them. Fans, even if it's not their teams, have a tendency to watch part of the games. What's your expectation? Do you, like, outside of home field advantage, do you see a clear advantage for either team tonight?
I really don't. And that's what the great thing about this Game 7 is. I mean, everybody, with the exception of last night's starting pitchers, is in play, is possible to come in, to be a factor. And you just never know when some unsung hero will pop up. And that's why we want to watch these games, is because there's no tomorrow. And whoever gets it done is going to be a hero, and whoever doesn't is going to live as a goat.
Yeah, well, you look at the matchup. We've seen these two teams, Kirby and Bieber, go at it in Game 3, and Seattle got the 2 runs early, and then Bieber settled down. Whereas the Jays, they got to Kirby in the 3rd inning with Jimenez, of all people, when he hit the 2-run blast to kind of really get them going and get them back in this entire series. The Jays, when their offense, like, the biggest difference I've seen is the 7, 8, 9 hitters. Like, it's not even close between Toronto and Seattle. And to me, I just wonder, like, a lot of time when you have depth, usually depth comes through. But Game 7, I don't know why, it just has a history to think it's going to be low scoring. Do you think low scoring favors one team over the other?
I kind of do, just because I think it favors Seattle, really, because the Mariners, to me, last night kind of played the game in a way that they knew they still had Game 7 in their back pocket. They didn't use Andres Munoz at all. So he's going to come into this game in probably the highest leverage situation possible. And I think the Mariners bullpen is a little bit deeper than the Blue Jays. So in terms of just the pitching matchups and everything, I think the Mariners do come in a little bit more rested on the pitching side. And to that degree, maybe just a slight advantage, even though Toronto's playing at home.
Yeah, I agree. I think Seattle, I know they have more one swing potential up and down their lineup. They also have more swing and miss potential up and down their lineup. But in a low scoring game where one run can be the difference, you look and say, geez, they might be able to hit more home runs in one swing of the bat than Toronto. But I look at Toronto and they can manufacture runs way better than Seattle can, right? Like, they don't strike out very much, Steve. And when you look at Kirby, who's a strikeout pitcher, that's why I think I kind of like this matchup for Toronto, because they just don't have guys who strike out very much.
Yep, that is true. And for that reason, I think we may not see George Kirby, but for 2 1/3 or 2 2/3. I mean, I don't think that the advantage that Toronto has there with Kirby is going to be one that's going to carry through, even a second full time through the order. So It's going to be, the other pitchers, the bullpens. I think we're going to see starters. I think we're going to see maybe Brian Wu. I think we could see Kevin Gossman in tonight, and maybe we will, in fact, see them just because the bullpen arms, those relievers are gassed at this point. You're getting to Game 7. We've seen so much of, Seattle's high leverage guys, Toronto's high leverage guys. And, the X factor to me tonight is when a starting pitcher comes in and what kind of situation he faces, because that to me could be where the game is won and lost.
Looking at the Jays, and funny how one hit might not seem like it, but I remember talking about it afterwards, and I felt in the blowout win for the Jays, when Addison Barger got his first hit and it was a home run in the series, I was like, that's a huge hit for him. And since then, like, he's been a huge part of their team.
Indeed. And it just goes to the point that you were making about the lower part of the order. And Barger has been phenomenal. Ernie Clement seems like he's getting hit and getting on base every time. And Jimenez couple of key home runs, which, again, that's the beauty of the postseason. Nobody really expected him to hit home runs and be a factor offensively. So yeah, and that's what's kept Toronto, that and Vladimir Guerrero being, one of the best players on the planet, is what's kept Toronto in this and given them a chance to advance to the World Series.
Well, hey, if I would have said this guy is going to be leading the Jays in RBIs in the series and said it's Jimenez, people would have said you're an idiot. But here we are 6 games through, and he's leading them with 6 RBIs. He's had huge hits in the series. Every guy in the Jays has at least 1 RBI, whereas the 8-9 hitters have none. And Rosarina only has 1. It looks like, though, one lineup change just in the batting order tonight for Seattle. They're going to move Naylor up to 3 and Polanco down to 4. What do you make of that move?
I think it's a good move. Naylor has been, I don't think you can say it arguably even has been their best hitter in this series. Sure. And to get him more at bats, put him in between the switch hitters. And I think that's a fantastic move for them. And, if somebody is going to be the difference tonight for Seattle, I think it's Josh Naylor. I really do.
The bullpen work, we saw it last night. Hoffman, I know they say he's ready to go, but that was a pretty long outing for him, 2 innings, and he's pitched very well in this series. Like, you can't complain. He made 3 appearances, hasn't given up a run. He's been really solid. How much do you think they would lean on him? Like, he's only got a maximum, maybe 3 or 4 batters, I would think, after going as long as he did last night.
I would think so too. But again, it depends on how his stuff is, how many pitches he throws. If Seattle makes him work, we talked about the swing and miss in Seattle's lineup. If they make him work hard, foul off a bunch of pitches, that sort of thing, then I think it's going to limit the amount that he can go. But if he goes through, a 9 or 10 pitch inning or something like that, he walked 1 batter in 2 innings last night, struck out 4. If he has that kind of an easy inning, I could see John Schneider maybe pushing him to a second, getting a couple outs maybe in that second inning or something like that. But as we know, with the entire bullpen available, all of the pitching staff, I don't know how much he will have to push him, but if he's throwing the ball well, he's their best high leverage arm. I think they will make sure that he faces high leverage at bats tonight.
Do you see either one of these teams having a better matchup wise against the Dodgers?
Maybe just because we saw how great the Dodgers starting pitching staff was, maybe the Mariners a little bit. I feel like their starting pitching is stronger, and we kind of felt that coming into this series. Maybe it has not played out that way, but if all their guys are pitching the way that they're capable of, I think the Mariners might have a better puncher's chance at the Dodgers. Obviously, the Dodgers will be well rested, will be the favorite, and should be. But the interesting thing is the last 4 times we've had one team sweep in the league championship series and one go to 7 games. The team that has been in that 7-game series has won the World Series. So it at least should give the fans of both the Mariners and the Blue Jays a feeling of hope if they get past the game tonight and get to the World Series and face the Dodgers.
Now, I can't remember do the Jays have home field advantage if they win? Because I know they had more wins, right? So it's still
they
based
won
on win.
94 games. And the Dodgers won 93.
Yeah, so the Dodgers, so it's not rotation anymore. It's automatic, just who has the most wins that gets up. So it's actual legit home field advantages because he used to rotate. Maybe I know that's probably many years ago. I've kind of forgotten when. But so if the Jays win, they get it. If Seattle wins, then they start in LA. So that's how it goes. Has anything like outside of Trey Savage, because let's be honest, I don't think people thought a young guy was going to do what he's done in this series, especially in last night elimination game. Youngest guy, pitched very well, induced 3 consecutive innings with double plays to end rallies, which is amazing. Has there anybody else who's really impressed you more than you were expecting when the series began?
I mean, I don't really think so. I mean, if you've been watching the Jays for the entire year, you're aware of the contributions of Barger and Clement and those guys. I mean, while they're not household names, I mean, to tell you the truth, I did not think Vladimir Guerrero would be so unstoppable, the way, and that the Mariners would pitch to him. I think that may be the key tonight is, do they let Vladimir Guerrero have a chance to beat them? My guess is they probably don't. So in terms of people surprising me, not really, other than Savage, but yeah, this is the time to shine, and we could have an Andres Jimenez pop up and do something unexpected tonight, and that's, like I said, that's one of the reasons I'm so excited about what happens this evening.
Now, one guy to watch for who hasn't done much in the series yet is Dalton Varsho on the Jays offense. Like, he had a really big regular season, but by his numbers, he's had a pretty quiet, at least offensively, but in the field, that's the one area where Toronto has a clear advantage. And we've seen it. We definitely saw it last game, not even on the errors, but even on the play. If you look at the two difference when Ernie Clement got his triple compared to when Seattle hit theirs off the wall, Varsho was over there quickly. He's covering, throws it in. Whereas when Clement hit his off the wall, and Rodriguez might be their best fielder, but he didn't come over and help. And that allowed Clement to get to a triple. Like, Toronto's defensive acumen is way better than Seattle.
Absolutely. And, Seattle is a good defensive team too. I mean, this is last night's mental lapses and misplays. That was highly uncharacteristic of them.
Yeah.
But the thing about the Blue Jays is they are so consistently good, turning batted balls into outs, that really the pathway for Seattle to win tonight is hit the ball out of the ballpark, because chances are the Blue Jays defenders are going to run pretty much everything down.
Yeah. Well, Trey Savage, could you kind of compare it to anybody else that you can think of in recent memory? Steve, you've been covering this sport for a long, long time. And, to come in, like, I know no one's started as few games in him, but even a rookie maybe who got called up in July or something for a team, or June even, that had that much of an impact for a playoff team in recent memory. Can you think of one?
It's not really that recent, but it does remind me a lot of when Francisco Rodriguez came up for the Angels and was a last-minute addition to the playoff roster and became lights out in the postseason. That kind of is the impact, although it's at the back of the game rather than as a starting pitcher. But just somebody that you're not expecting. You didn't even have any idea would be anywhere close to the playoff roster at midseason, but then toward the end, when the games really count, those guys appear on the scene and surprisingly come through when they're asked to. It's great to watch.
Stevie, who are you picking?
I feel like I'm not going to be very popular with this, but I think, Jason, I went on with you before the playoffs started and said I thought the Dodgers and the Mariners would be the teams that were left standing. So I feel justified in saying I think the Mariners are going to find a way to pull this out. But it should be a close game. There should be a lot of managerial moves. They're going to be a big part of this. And I think we'll have lots to second guess tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's always hard, right? Like, the guy should have left this guy and that guy. And I'm like, well, no one ever talks about when the it works, right? I look at people like, John Schneider should have pulled this guy. And I actually in Game 5, I didn't have a problem with how he ran his bullpen. I didn't. Little had pitched a lot, and you're going with the numbers, and he came in and he pitched awful. But that's not the manager's fault. He hadn't pitched that bad in a while. So you're kind of playing the odds. I didn't mind. Actually, I didn't mind how he allocated the guys at that time. What about you?
Yeah, and I think the point that he made after the game was that Little does not give up home runs, and that was the thing that was that was going to kill you. And it's just one of those things where a guy has performed one way the entire season, and then something unusual happens that you don't expect. And it's hard to say, oh, well, I should have. You think of it as, it's an 80-20 kind of proposition. What happens when the 20% result comes up? You can't really say, that was the wrong decision, because it made sense, and most of the time it would have worked out.
Awesome stuff.
I'm with you.
Yeah, Steve, enjoy the game tonight. Should be a lot of great storylines, and we hope it's a close game.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Jason.
There you go. That's Steve Gardner from talking MLB, and he did have the Mariners and the Dodgers before, so I get why he's got to stick with them. We got to do it. So, but if you missed it tonight, of course, we're going to have the game right here on Sports 1440. First pitch around 6:08. So if you're driving around, you got some other, maybe your kids maybe you got to practice. You got to drop your kid off at practice because you don't have a car yet. You're like, all right, well, guess what? You can listen to the game on the way there or on the way back, because there's lots of people, even if they aren't diehard baseball fans, you're a fan of Game 7. You like it. And the batting orders are up. We know there's Kirby's on the mound for the Mariners, Bieber's on the mound for the Jays to start. The Mariners lineup will have Rodriguez, Raleigh, Naylor, Polanco, Randy Arozarena, Suarez, Crawford, Rivas, and Robles is in. He's batting ninth tonight. And then Springer leading off, Lucas Guerrero Jr., Kirk, Varsho, Clement, Barger, Connor Falefa, and Jimenez. And hey, going back to Connor Falefa, remember at the start of this year, it's like, geez, the guy's 0-6. Let's see. And he's being unreal. He's being unreal. So there's another decision. We said at Cons earlier, I'm like, I don't think you can question him if you want, but I haven't had an issue with any of John Schneider's decisions. Of course, they're not all going to work out because you don't have any control if the guy pitches well or not, right? And he said, hey, I think Connor Falefa is going to get us some hits, and he's come up with some huge hits at key times in the series. No question about it. And obviously, he's a good defender, but I look at it like Little doesn't give up home runs against a team that hits home runs, and he made some bad pitches. And I wonder tonight. I still think you'll go back to him, because if you used a guy all year long, and in most cases he did really well, I think you're still going to go back to that guy, wouldn't you?
I would think so. And I think John Schneider, you're right. We can question him, but who has a better pulse of his team than him? He's in the clubhouse with them. He knows what's going on. Very similarly, when, the Oilers head coach makes a decision, people second guess it, and then it works out. Or who's going to start between the pipes, and it works out. These guys have a pulse in their team. They know what is the best option for them, and it's tough to criticize it. But yeah, IKF, we're like, what's happening? And then all of a sudden the bat starts heating up. So hope he's gonna, make all the correct decisions once again here tonight. And hey, I don't like to criticize our guests, but I'm hoping he's wrong on this occasion.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure most Jays fans agree with you.
And I'm hoping that Tiardo's wrong too. I'm hoping all our guests are wrong today, as he said the Chargers wouldn't make the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, Declan looked right over at me. Yeah. Like, Jesus, is Con's going to suddenly all of a sudden, Brian, oh, sorry, disconnected. But
who books these guys?
Yeah, what an idiot. Who's doing that? 446, we'll return with 5 questions. And we got Spec on the other side. We got lots of texts coming in. Hey, Jays fans, what's your thoughts? Very easy. 833-401-1440. Jays winning. Tell me who's going to have the biggest impact in the game tonight. Either team. Who do you think? 833-401-1440. We'll return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
When pumpkins glow and night turns chill, there's one fall treat that fits the bill. A pizza shaped like a jack-o'-lantern with smiling pepperoni pattern. Thin golden crust, so cheesy and tasty. Get yours now, better be hasty. It's only around for a limited time for a spooktacular price, $17.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, yes, it's true. Papa John's Jack-o'-lantern Pizza is coming for you. Spookily and proudly locally owned and operated.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. I'm super excited to tell you today that we have fed over 250 families so far with our Feed 500 Families event. With that said, we are still short of our goal. We have decided to continue this on through to the end of October. With your help and your support, we can get this done. Please stop in and see us today. 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
Looking at the Alberta weather forecast, wild, unpredictable, brutally tough.
When the weather turns tough, Titan Supply doesn't back down. Titan Supply has been protecting workers from conditions like this for 50 years. We stand tall with you against the elements with the industry's best rigging, hauling, and lifting products to get you home safe. Tire chains, wire rope, round slings, chain slings, and a whole lot more. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary. Online at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
When you get into a new Tacoma, you might suddenly find yourself expertly tackling bumps and boulders on backwood trails with a confidence you just didn't have during pothole season. All that's left to do is drive it home. Get in and go right now at Toyota, where you can lease a 2025 Tacoma 4x4 double cab SR5 from $117 weekly for 64 months at 6.79% with $7,699 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
Hi, I'm Al Hamilton, first captain of the Edmonton Oilers. Prostate cancer is the most common cancer in men, and here in Alberta, we're fighting back. This November, every dollar you give helps the Prostate Cancer Center fund early detection, testing, and life-saving support right here in our province. Let's keep it in Alberta for our fathers, brothers, husbands, and friends. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to start your men's health fundraiser or donate today. Together, we can look after the men in our community. Thank you for your support.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan for all your residential water needs. Your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$4.50. Catchy tune, Cons. I like it. On a Monday afternoon, welcome back to the show. Hope you're having a lovely day. I know Oiler fans, it's a good thing the Jays are going on right now because it diverts you from your frustration that is the Oilers. Now, it's early on. It's 6 games. And I think you're probably like, you know what? They've started slow before and they'll be fine. And I think that's the rational way to look at it, especially because this season, the area of their game that's been the weakest is the area that's their biggest strength. Puck movement, puck management, offense. They got that in spades. Now, they're not playing that well right now. They can't pass the puck, save their life, but that'll change. It will come around. Now, there are some elements of their game that I'm like, is this team ever going to be a team that goes to the net a ton? Without Zach Hyman, I think it really exposes the lack of net front offense from other players. And if I'm Stan Bowman, I got my notepad out, and I'm making a list like, dude, we can't just have one guy who is so good at it. And then when he's out, it's non-existent. It can't be that way. Like, sure, you can have a reduction from it. That's okay. But it can't be to the point where it basically becomes non-existent. And that's what it's been right now. So that's, to me, somewhat of the challenge for the for Edmonton right now. Like, they gotta be better there. Like, you look at it, they're on every game on the road trip. They've given up more high danger chances than they've created. So you can't tell me, they're creating lots and it's good and it'll only come around. No, they're not. They got to create more. Overall in the season, they're 27th in expected goals. They're 28th off the rush, 5-5. Net fronts, they're 29th. So don't tell me that their offense is coming around. Like, it ain't happening at all. So, and they'll have to get better. Now, let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, saving you more on furniture, mattresses, appliances, and big screen TVs. Great place to improve your fan cave at The Brick and TheBrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. There's probably a few, but what would you say is the biggest concern for the Oilers to start the season?
Puck management. No, it's not even close for me. Puck management, improve it, and the result will come.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with you on that one. I'll say, how about some more even strength goals from McDavid and Draisaitl? I think Dry's got 2. McDavid, man, for a guy who wanted to score more goals, now's the time to get it going. So I'll say that probably wouldn't hurt them either. Question number 2 for you. What's happening tonight? Game 7, Jays Mariners.
Well, I picked the Jays at the start of the series, so I'm going to stick with the Jays. And I'm going to say, I think it's going to be a little bit of a low-scoring game. I'm going to say 4-2.
Ooh, well, I want the over to hit, and I want the Jays to win. So I'm going to say the Jays bats continue to roll here. There's going to be 2-run shots, but Jays win 8-4. And there's a little pressure from the Mariners at the end, but they hold them off and get the win. And then get ready to take on LA. Question number 3 for you over at PlayAlberta.ca. They have the Lions tonight, 6-point favorites against the Bucks. You've also got the Seahawks, 3-point favorites over the Texans, including the spread. What are your picks in these games?
Go ahead.
I mean, I really like this Bucks team. Like, they're frisky. They find ways to hang around and make them close. So I'll take them to cover, and I will take the Seahawks to cover the spread going the other way.
Yeah, Detroit's a pretty good team at home, but you're right. Like 6 points for the Bucks. The Bucks are 5-1, but you know what? I'm going to take the Lions. I'm going to go opposite of rational because I just think we're expecting a tight game, and we've had some results that we don't expect. So I will do that. And my God, the Seahawks, I got to take them. Like, they can't lose this game.
Yeah, I mean, and like the Lions Bucks should be the over. It's like 52.5, but still, these teams put up points, so it should be a fun one. To watch for a little while. Question number 4 for you. NBA gets going tomorrow. Who's your pick to win MVP this season?
Go ahead.
The Homer in me wants to say SGA, but I'm going to say Victor Wembanyama. He's going to stay healthy this year, and it's going to come all together. The numbers he puts out there, if you ever heard Declan Kruger talk about it, they're ridiculous. So if he stays healthy, I'll go with Wembanyama.
But I'm going SGA again. I think it's they're so good, and he's so good, and he's young. I just think that he's going to have another remarkable season. And now it seems in the NBA that once you get established, that benefits you in some of the voting. So I'm going to go with it. My long shot wild card. It's not a crazy wild card, but I'm going to go Cade Cunningham as a little bit of a surprise.
All right. A final question for you today. It is actor John Krasinski's birthday. Of course, star of many things. Really rose to fame, though, as Jim on The Office. So with that, who are your top 3 sitcom characters of all time?
Oh, God, that is buddy. That is really hard. So top 3 favorites of all time. Well, obviously, Kramer's in it for sure. He is he's unbelievable. So I got to go with Kramer. Michael Scott. I'm going with Michael Scott. And see, this is where it's tough because God, there is. I might go. Like I feel like I can leave off too many guys here, Cons.
Yeah,
that's my problem. But I think I'm gonna go with Will Arnett in Arrested Development as Job Bluth.
There's too many. That's really the problem here.
Yeah, there is. For sitcoms, like there's a lot of really good options here.
Yeah. You took Michael Scott. I'll take Dwight then.
Yeah.
I'm also going to go with Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec. And
I've never watched that show, but you keep talking about it. So
it's a good one. Yeah. It's a good watch.
I get it.
Like Phil Dunphy, but I'm going to go Captain Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Almost monotone throughout the entirety of the show. But the more you watch him, as the season goes on or the show goes on, he kind of lightens up a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's quite funny, especially when it comes to his enemy. Oh, what's her name?
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember her name.
The other captain.
Yes.
The episode when she dies.
Yeah.
Oh, spoiler alert. He is so funny. He's so happy. It's hilarious.
Like Joey Tribbiani was someone I thought a lot of. Like George Costanza. Like, God, there's a lot of characters. Even like George Michael Bluth in Arrested Development.
His name alone is hilarious.
Or even actually Tobias in The never nude, like there's so many. Dwight is awesome though too, man. But God, that's a really tough question. Like, there's a lot that I'd be like, if someone says Newman, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I'd have no problem with that. So totally get it. But hey guys, I have a hot take. Park and Rec is better than The Office from Lance. Well, I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on that. Hey guys, Randy Marsh. Well, actually, guys, I can't believe no one picked Homer. Yeah, well, Homer was funny. He never aged. That was good about him. And did you see the meme they had the other day? Remember when Homer, when they played the baseball game against all the MLBers? And so they're doing the slow motion of Homer hitting a home run, and then they had Kirk.
Oh,
nice side.
That's unfair.
Oh, but it was quite funny though. It was quite funny. So, hey guys, Lance has issues, said everyone from Tiger. Oh, there you go. Hey guys, go to Taxi. What about Jim? Oh my God. Jim was pretty funny, Glenn. Now that's certain. Connor, you never saw Taxi, did you?
No.
Oh yeah. That's there's like, you go to different generations, man. Go back to Archie Bunker. Like, oh, are you kidding me? Meathead. Hey guys, what about Klinger on MASH? Ooh, Jack Tripper. God, that's another classic. Three's Company. Oh, he's amazing. Honestly, Mr. Furley on Three's Company. Don Knotts was unreal in that show. Hey boys, what about Norm? Yeah, well, Norm didn't say a lot. He was a great secondary character, right? But like Norm had great one lines. Right? Come in, hey, George, how did beer feel? Pretty nervous if I was in the room. Like, he had so many classic lines over the years. So I like this one. Hey, boys, old school, Al Bundy. You know what? Like that. Imagine showing people today that show. I think some people would be scarred emotionally to try to watch that. Even The Office, sadly. Like, if you looked at some of the things they said in The Office, and that's not even that old. I think we've become a little bit too sensitive to humor now. Oh, that's going to fit. Like, there's certain things that we should have certain things aren't funny. I get it. But The Office had lots of dark humor that was quite funny.
Also, shout out Ed O'Neill to go from,
yes.
like, you get typecast in Hollywood, right? Like Michael Scott, Steve Carell, love him. He's always going to be Michael Scott. But to go from Married with Children and then to Modern Family and have like such a good run, pretty impressive.
Pretty good, but they were separated by quite a long
time apart,
right?
yeah.
So that helped them for sure. So, but it is true. Like, certain people, you remember them as one character, and that can be the success about it, but that can also be challenging. Now, luckily for not Michael Scott, but why am I blanking on his name?
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell. Like, he's been in a lot of other movies that have been pretty good, right? But you're right. Like for Kramer, I mean, Michael Rich could go in anything. Now, he's probably more, well, he did have a little bit of a tirade once at the comedy club that many people remember. Probably not necessarily great for him, but yeah, like Al Bundy, O'Neill to do that and then go to the dad, who is very different type of character, was hilarious. But man, Peg. Hey guys, you probably never saw it, but Bob Newhart on Newhart was outstanding. I do remember watching it. I was a little bit younger, but my parents watched it. Bob's very dry sense of humor. Very dry. God, there's some good ones, man. Like, boys, Larry David and Curb is definitely up there. Yeah, it's a good one. So lots of good options. Lots of good options in the comedies. Let's get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update, and Spec will join us next. It's brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Buy a new vehicle this month and help feed families. In October, for every truck sold, Northgate will feed a family of 4. You can check out all their vehicles at northgategm.com. Get a great deal and help a family get some food.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game 7 tonight out in Toronto. Mariners, Jays, ALCS. First pitch set for 6:10. We'll have that one for you here on Sports 1440 radio feed only. On the ice this evening, you've got the Rangers hosting the Wild, Kraken in Philly. Sabres take on the Habs, Flames up against the Jets, and the Hurricanes in Vegas. And Week 7 in the NFL concludes this evening. Lions and Bucks meeting in a few minutes here. Then at 8 o'clock, you got the Texans in Seattle. Sticking with the NFL, Denver Broncos linebacker Trey Greenlaw has been suspended 1 game without pay for unsportsmanlike conduct following Sunday's game against the Giants. The incident came at the conclusion of the game when Greenlaw chased after referee Brad Allen and verbally threatened him as he left the field. The Montreal Alouettes have signed GM Danny Machocha and head coach to contract extensions 2 years each, and the CEBL announced today that Commissioner Mike Morreale has stepped down from his role as commissioner. He's been with the league since it tipped off in 2018. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and hear the Oil Report. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Michelle and Colette are sisters. Sisters who don't agree on much, especially when it comes to which hockey team is the best.
Edmonton is the best, baby. Vancouver's number 1.
Even when it comes to meat snacks.
Welcome back.
I love the Harris Tweed.
Welcome back.
But they will agree.
Wilhauk beef jerky is the best.
It might just be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Others can try to imitate, but no one can duplicate Wilhauk beef
Game.
jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win friends with salad.
Monopoly Double Play is back at McDonald's. So let's
Show.
try this
Hope
win.
you're having a.
You just won 25 grand. And go.
Yes.
I said 25 grand.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Much better. Okay, now you just won a brand new Chevrolet Corvette. I think she just fainted. Impressive. Feel like a winner on pack and in-app. Monopoly Double Play is back. While supplies last, 1 in 5 chances to win game piece prizes at outset. Chances to win draw prizes depend on number of entries in each draw. Cash prizes payable by e-transfer. See rules in-app.
The madness continues at the Brick. Get your home ready to host. Save up to $1,200 on Made in Canada sofas and sectionals, up to 30% off coffee tables and nightstands, and up to 25% off bedroom and dining. Buy more, save more, up to $1,000 off appliances. Hockey season is here, and so are big savings on big screen TVs. Save up to $800, plus get free local delivery on screens over 50 inches. The Brick, saving you more.
When it comes to sports in Edmonton, Jason Gregor is a must listen. He brings you the inside scoop with guests from across North America. If it matters in sports, you'll hear it here first. Gregor rolls out weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports 1440.
Carve out for a cause at the Jason Gregor Pizza Pig Out, presented by GS Construction. Thursday, November 6th at the Canadian Ice House. Indulge in unlimited pizza from amazing local pizzerias while you help raise some dough for kids' sport. Then vote for your favorite slice to help crown the People's Choice Award winners. Tickets to join Edmonton's biggest and best adult pizza party are just $30. Head to jasongregorpizzapigout.com for more details and to buy tickets.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
At the Nissan All-In Clearout, there's nothing more chill than financing an award-winning Nissan for just 0%. Enjoy the soothing relaxation of zero stress, zero worries, zero indecision.
During the Nissan All-In Clearout, get 0% financing plus up to $500 bonus on some of our best-selling models. You have zero reasons to wait. Conditions apply. See your local Nissan dealer today.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation, 2 weekly podcast with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth AA football coverage on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcast. Also, elksnation.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock, we are exactly 1 hour away from the first pitch tonight in Game 7. You can listen to the game right here on Sports 1440. It's the Blue Jays and the Seattle Mariners. So riveting stuff tonight, baby. Can't wait. Well, I actually have to record the game, so don't text me, anybody. I'll be coaching hockey and recording the game at home. So get home and watch it afterwards, which will be I know it almost makes it more because then you just fast forward all the commercials, so you'd have no time to not be stressed during the game, which will make it good and very much enjoyable. The Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to the spec report now, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists. Whether you need running water, got to drive somewhere, without GS, that stuff doesn't get done at GS Construction. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us back in town after you had to leave the road trip early. It was so hard to watch. Spector, that was some struggles offensively for the Edmonton Oilers on this 4-game road trip that will be a 5-gamer tomorrow night that ends in Ottawa. It's not been pretty. I said to me, and in the rink, I know that things are different. Their puck management has been woeful. Like, I can't believe how many missed passes they have, how many turnovers they've had. Puck management has led to them just not being a threat offensively really in any game other than the Vancouver game.
Yeah, they're certainly when they were in New York, Jason, like my thing with, they often talk about the ice and is the ice any good? And New York is notorious for having bad ice because it's such a busy arena. And they mishandled and couldn't accept the pass, mishandled pucks. So many professional hockey players couldn't handle the puck. I thought the ice was terrible. One of the players said, "I wasn't that bad at all." Then they went to the Islanders. They mishandled pucks there. Then they went to Jersey, and everybody mishandled pucks there. Then they went to Detroit, and Draisaitl has a breakaway with 2 minutes left and doesn't even handle that puck. And I start to realize maybe it's not the ice. Maybe it's the players. So, yeah, there's a massive struggle. Like for Leon Draisaitl to make that, I've never seen him make a play like that in a situation like that in his entire career. And I've seen probably almost every game he's played. I've never seen it. Like that's a metaphor for what's going on with Draisaitl's game right now. He is struggling, man.
Yeah. And the crazy part is he's got 4 goals and he's struggling. So and he said it himself. He's like, man, I'm not feeling it. I can't get it. No. But he said, hey, you got to get it done. And it's true. Like him and McDavid, they're the guys who drive the bus for your team, especially offensively. I think the team defensive structure, despite all their giveaways, is still actually pretty good numbers when you look at it from a defensive standpoint. We had Kevin Woodley on breaking down Stuart Skinner's game and goes, I actually think he's moving quite well, right? He's made, like, on that 3rd goal, he said his pad got caught inside the post. It's more of a physical error at that point. And he says, hey, those things happen every now and then, but overall, how he's moving, no problem. But offensively, really, other than the Vancouver game, there just hasn't been a lot of crisp tape-to-tape passes moving up the ice. Now, the last 10 minutes in that Detroit game, there was no whistles, but it seemed like maybe, like if I'm Chris Knobloch, I might just show highlights of those last 10 minutes because that seemed to be the one time in the road trip where they had any sort of consistent offensive pressure.
Yeah, where all that possession ended up with a chance at the net. Like, they've had the puck a lot. They're a team that possesses the puck and they whip it around and they take it up to center and chuck it in and go after it or whatever they do. But there's been very little high danger, chances that conclude a long period of puck possession. It's great to have the puck. If you have it, the other team's probably not going to score. And that's why they're not giving up 5 or 6 a night. But the issue for me is they're just doing nothing with it. Like their offense is impotent. There's no no danger. There's no one taking it to the net. It's not there. And we've all seen this team. This team can score. They've got lots of guys who could score. Their big guys are the best scorers in the league. But right now, the big guys aren't scoring and the little guys aren't scoring and nobody in between scoring either. There's a lot of guys, man, that have to bear down and start simplifying, taking some pucks to the net. Give yourself a chance to get a bit of a lucky goal once in a while, like Larkin got. It can't all be 7 passes and a goal. You're just not going to score enough goals that way right now.
No, that's totally valid. Jake Wallman activated, so he'll make his season debut tomorrow. Which defenseman do you think comes out?
Well, probably Emberson, I guess, the right side guy. I mean, who's your right side guys here?
Stetcher or Emberson?
Stetcher. I meant to say Stetcher. Okay. Your right side guys are Bouchard. It's going to be Wallman, probably with Nurse. That was where Stetcher was. And then Emberson's going to play with Kulak. I'm going to say it's Stetcher. Stetcher's become that guy that comes in and gives you a couple real good games when you need it. But the longer he plays, the more he looks like a 7th defenseman. I hate to say that about the guy because I admire him, the way he's undersized and comes out of the press box and tries his rear end off. But when he plays 4 or 5 in a row, you realize why he's a fringe guy in your lineup. So for sure, he comes out in my books.
Okay. Offensively, Spec, they've moved guys in and out. It's funny. Lazard, now granted, he scored with 3 seconds left to make it 5-3, but he scored in his first game, comes out. Philp had scored earlier. He came out. Phil comes back in, scores again. I can safely say Philp's not coming out, but what are you hearing on Kapanen? I'm assuming he's not playing tomorrow.
I don't know. There again, they didn't even practice today, so there's no news on Kapanen at this point. He left in the middle of the game. I saw all the post-game stuff. I wasn't in Detroit. No word on him. Now, listen, we've been through this with injuries. I mean, Wallman was supposed to play 2 weeks ago, or they thought he might, and now he's finally playing tonight. So don't ask me about Kapanen. I didn't even see where he got hurt. I just heard on the broadcast when I watched it later on that he wasn't coming back. So I don't know about Kapanen. They've got lots of guys, so that's not the issue. It's the guys that are above Kapanen in the lineup that have to get going here before the guys in Kapanen's spot are going to help you much.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Do you think now Ottawa leads the NHL in goals allowed, 30 through their first 6 games? They're giving up 5 goals a game. If there was ever a game that maybe the Oilers offense could get rolling, do you think it'd be this one?
You'd think.
That being said, and because they're both struggling, do you think Knobloch plays McDavid with Draisaitl tomorrow? Because a lot of times that's what he'll do when, if we got to get a bump, or does he keep him apart? What do you think he does? Because we've seen both here on the road trip, and neither one has necessarily looked any better than the other.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I'm really not sure how to crack that egg. Let's start with something we can agree on. Let's start with Connor McDavid needs to start shooting the puck more. Yeah. I think we'd agree on that. So that's a tangible change he could make in his game. He told me before the season, I've scored 50 goals and I've had 100 points. And he says, I've had 70 assists. He says, I like goals better than assists. I got to shoot more. I like scoring. I want to score. He starts the season. He's not shooting the puck at all. He's looking off some of the best chances.
Oh God. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I don't know what's happening there, but he is. So I guess I'm going to throw it back at you. If I want to see Connor McDavid take charge of this thing, do I want him with Draisaitl or do I want him by himself? What do you think?
Well, I just want him to score. So I'm going to look and say, what do I think gives him the best chance to get his confidence going? And I look and say, the rest of our lineup isn't giving up much. We're going up against a team that's giving up a lot. I think I might play McDavid and Draisaitl tomorrow. Like when Draisaitl comes out, he's very honest. You know what? I'm not feeling it right now. Maybe they can feel it together. That would be my thought process for tomorrow. And then you come home, you got last change, then you can split them up. And just so you make that flight home after Ottawa, you got to win. Guys feel a little bit better for themselves. I would start them together.
Yep. Okay. I'm having watched the whole season and seen them together and apart. I'm fairly ambivalent. Whatever people think is going to get some production, I don't know. They've played together and it hasn't been good. They played apart and it hasn't been good. I'm not sure how putting them together is going to help. But I really don't have an answer for you, Jay. It's the same way you tell me how Draisaitl, Bouchard, we're 6 games in, Bouchard doesn't have a point yet.
Yeah.
Right? Like he just gets a cheap power play point somewhere along the way usually. The power play passes it around great, but not much happens. So, that's probably a place where maybe you could light a fire. Like maybe that's where a couple logs, there's some kindling for this thing is in the power play. Maybe a power play goal or two gets everybody going. Now, the power play is not helping anyone's confidence, and that just bleeds into 5-on-5 play.
Well, I can tell you, if McDavid scores in the power play spec, and I'll show you a recent example of, and it can be a nothing goal sometimes. It doesn't have to be a huge play. And I think this is valid because look at the storyline tonight and look at Addison Barger didn't have a hit until he hit a home run in a blowout game, right? It was the last run of the game in the 9th inning. He hits a home run in game 3 against Seattle. And since then, he's batting .357. He's got a 1.295 OPS. He's played great in the field. He looks like a totally different player, right? And just one swing, he got a home run, and all of a sudden he got his mojo back. And I think for McDavid, for them, if they could get a goal early in that game, right? All of a sudden, I think it's McDavid put so much pressure on himself. There's no doubt about that even the best player in the world, and I know he's still got points, right? But I think there's like 58 players in the league who have 6 or more points, and only 2 of them don't have goals, and it's McDavid and DeBrincat. Like it's normally you get points, it means you're scoring, and he's not scoring. Yep. So I would think a McDavid goal, and that just he exhales. All of a sudden now we see him dancing. I wouldn't be surprised at all if McDavid scores, and then all of a sudden he kind of goes on a run. And if he does do that, that's why I'm playing with McDavid. I would Draisaitl because I still think the best odds of him scoring are by playing.
No, that all of that makes sense. It does amaze me, Jason, how confidence is such a huge part of sports.
Yeah.
Guys go up and down, their confidence goes up and down. It amazes me when I see a guy like Draisaitl, who, when you saw his interview after the game last night, like I've done that interview with him probably once a year in his whole career. He goes through one of these every year, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. And he's a little bit lost. Like he doesn't have an answer. He doesn't know why it's not going good. He's trying his rear end off. It's not like he doesn't want it. It's not like he's not trying, but if he just loses his confidence, and so does McDavid. Like, I feel like, oh my God, some plugger like me or you, I'd kill to have a 50th of the skill those guys have, and they have all that skill, yet their confidence comes and goes. And even that player can lose their confidence to a degree, and it's amazing to me. It's a fact, but it's a fact I have a hard time getting my head around.
Yeah. But it just shows you, man. But confidence in any walk of life. I'm sure not every time you sit down to write an article, you're like, oh, I'm feeling great about it, right? Like you do it all the time. It doesn't matter. Anybody in their walk of life can go through it, and you just got to battle to get out of it. Now, it's rare that it extends to 6 games, because the truth is, through these 6 games, there hasn't been, usually I would say in the course of a season, there's 8 to 10 games a year where McDavid or Draisaitl are clearly the best player on the ice. And it's like, oh my God. And some nights you don't even get any points, but they just dominate.
Yeah.
Right. And that's probably 8 to 10 each player. Well, we're now 6 games in and neither player's done 1. I don't think that happens. And they haven't even looked close spec. Like neither one of them would look and say, oh, they should have been a 3rd star, 2nd star, 1st star in any game. And that's why, to me, it's a little wild. And if I'm Chris Knobloch, I'm doing anything. I think he's been trying to play them out of it, which is why he's playing 23 minutes a night. He's thinking, hey, you know what? Let's just try to play him out of this, because they're in good enough shape. I'm not worried about them being tired. I know, maybe they're overused. I'm like, give me a break.
Nah,
he's in great shape. I don't mind. Like him playing an extra minute and a half in a 60-minute game is in a game that lasts over 3 hours is not suddenly fatiguing him.
I put Bouchard in the same conversation. Like he's an elite talent. We know sometimes he makes a mistake, but when he's not making a mistake, he's generally making fantastic passes. He's moving the puck. He's walking into one-timers. He's doing all, he's a really, really top-end guy. That's why he makes 10.5. And his game since the first game of the season hasn't been any good. Like it hasn't been any good this year. And he's also lacking in confidence. And we all know it'll come. All you got to do is watch Bouchard play in the playoffs to know there's a hell of a player there. But right now, boy, he's another guy on this team that they count on.
Oh, yes.
Like he's a big part of things, and heavy is the head that wears the crown. You get that big paycheck because you're a massive part of the team. And if you're going to be a massive part of the team, we're 7 games in, you haven't played any good at all yet. It's no wonder your team's not going, right? Some of these big boys got to get going, and then the guys underneath have to have somebody to follow.
Yeah. Oh, that does make perfect sense.
Yes.
Lastly, spec tonight. It is game 7, baby. The Jays, you Savage, another strong outing. Their defense was great yesterday. Guerrero, another home run. Bargers played great since he hit that shot in game 3. What's your gut telling you tonight?
Oh, it's been so back and forth. Just when you think one team's going to win, the other does. So I don't know, my prediction. I know I'm hoping for the Jays, but I want to say, like, I really, win, lose, or draw, I think the Jays have really grabbed my admiration. They're a team with, like, you love a team that's got cojones. You love a team that when they're pushed up against it, they push back harder. And we've watched this Jays team, man. They're like that. Like they've, the Yankees, they came up against the Yankees and everyone thought the Yankees would win. And then they lost those 2 games against Seattle. Then they lost that game 6 against Seattle or game 5. And you thought, oh, this is it. And last night, man, they were the better team the whole night. So I hope they win. They certainly can win, but they've got guts, man. Like, don't count them out. That Jays team, that's the kind of team you like, no matter what uniform they're wearing. For me, anyway, a team that shows you that they don't go away easy. The Jays ain't going anywhere tonight.
Should be a fun game, man. I can't wait for it. It's gonna be awesome.
What are the chances? What are the chances you sit down for first pitch at like 9 at night and don't know who won?
Oh, buddy, I'm not bringing my phone, and I just walk into the rink. I tell the coaches, hey, I tell my assistant, I don't want to know the score. Don't anybody tell me. I get in my car, I drive home. I got a good 25% chance of not knowing.
Yeah, 25%. That's all I'll give you.
Yeah.
That's all I'll give you is 25%.
I know. It's a tough one, but
don't make a mistake and like check Twitter for something else.
Oh,
I wonder who won the Monday night game.
Like I can, I'm the one thing I'm good at. I can leave my phone at home. So my phone, when I don't need to bring my, actually I'm going straight to the rink. So I don't need to bring my phone into the arena. There's no reason for it. So it'll just sit in my car. And then guess what? Then you're not temptation. If people don't have the phone, you don't see the phone.
That's a start. That's a start. Well, good luck. I won't phone you. I promise.
Yeah. Well, good. You can. I'm not going to answer. So it's not going to matter. Have a good one.
All right, Jay.
That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. Yeah, I'm coaching a game tonight. What do you got to do? The kid, like my son was like, Dad, we got a game. Now, of course he wants to play his game, but he was a little perturbed that he's missing game 7. And I get it. It's first game 7 of his life for MLB. Now he's seen a few game 7s in hockey already. So he's, he knows it, but he's become a pretty big Jays fan. So he's excited. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We're going to hear from Leon Draisaitl. What is up with 29 and how do you get it back on track? We'll find out next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI. Custom Floors, Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
When pumpkins glow and night turns chill, there's one fall treat that fits the bill. A pizza shaped like a jack-o'-lantern with smiling pepperoni pattern. Thin golden crust, so cheesy and tasty. Get yours now, better be hasty. It's only around for a limited time for a spooktacular price, $17.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, yes, it's true. Papa John's Jack-O'-Lantern Pizza is coming for you. Spookily and proudly locally owned and operated.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Prostate cancer affects 1 in 6 men in Alberta, and this November we're fighting back. Every dollar raised fuels early detection and life-saving support. Donate today for the men in our province. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to start your fundraiser or donate today.
This is not a sale. At Walmart, our everyday low prices mean you can count on low prices every single day. Like 170 grams of fresh raspberries or blackberries for only $2.98 each. Shop everyday low prices in-store or on walmart.ca.
Groceries, mortgage payments, family holidays, a new car. That's what profit shares look like for Vision Credit Union members. Each year, we return about 75% of our profits, $35 million last year, to the people who bank with us. Because at Vision Credit Union, when you're an owner, you get your share. Why not get yours? Learn how at whatsyourshare.ca. That's whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Northwest Crane, available for all your lifting and equipment needs, specializing in selling and servicing cranes. Get lifting at northwestcrane.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5:29. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, as well as YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Go say hello to Declan, who's running things on YouTube, as well as Facebook. Say hi to him there. The Oilers did not skate today, in case you're wondering. There's another day off. They did skate, played 2 games in a row, so day off today. They'll play in Ottawa tomorrow, then they come home, and they have 1 home game against Montreal on Thursday. Then they're on the road Saturday and Sunday, as they got games against Seattle and Vancouver. So it's a tough stretch. It's kind of like an 8-game road trip, really, when you think about it. You go from Ottawa to Edmonton for 1 game, and then boom, you keep going west to Seattle and Vancouver. And they knew they were going to have a tough sked early on this season, and they'll just try to find a way to get some wins. After that, they do have a little bit of a stretch at home, right? They play the Canucks on the Sunday, and then they have Utah on Tuesday the 28th. The Rangers are here on the 30th, and then Chicago's in town on November 1st, which could be the return of Zach Hyman. That's the earliest he is eligible to come off of LTIR, and I think we'll get a better sense of where Zach is at when they skate. And although probably won't even practice on Wednesday, maybe they will. We'll see, but you'll find if he's getting close, he might take a morning skate on the 23rd, because that'd be just over a week away from him getting back in the lineup. So we shall see. That would obviously be a big welcome addition to the Oilers lineup, because it has been a little bit of a struggle without him. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They need a few guys playing better, and they definitely miss what Hyman brings up front. Now, let's get to the oil report, brought to you by Go Auto. Go Auto, of course, 28 new vehicle brands, 69 locations to choose from. They have over 1,500 vehicles. And right now, the lowest winter price tire around. Check it out, goauto.ca. And Leon Draisaitl, just talking right now about trying to find some consistency when too often they're trailing in games.
Yeah, it is. Just not creating enough offense. Obviously, not really seeing it right now, and then it's hard for sure.
Now, when the effort's there, because he said, hey, I don't think the effort's the issue. Does he feel like, okay, it's just a matter of time before it starts working? Or what can you do if the effort's there to try to get the execution at the level you want it to be?
Well, yeah, I think with the talent in here it is, but certainly frustrating.
Now, what about offense? Because I believe now it's funny. Like Draisaitl has 4 goals in 6 games, and you'd be thinking, hey, that's pretty good numbers. But 1 goal, 5-on-5 came the last game in Detroit, and I would argue that third period was probably the best offensive period of the road trip for the Oilers. They got the Draisaitl goal, and it just seemed to ignite them. They had some constant flow offensively. I felt they had numerous shifts back to back to back where they created something, which is good because we really haven't seen that at all through the first 11 periods of the road trip. And just why isn't it working as far as not creating offense right now?
Yeah, we're just not scoring enough. I think we're playing fine defensively. It's just not. Yeah, you're not going to win very many games when you score 1 or 2 goals.
Yeah, bingo. So, because we have some people texting, Nurse is the problem, Bouchard's the problem, Skinner's the problem. I'm like, you can't just repeat the same things, right? Darnell Nurse, yeah, he's had a few giveaways, sure. I don't discount that. I don't love it. There's that he falls under the category of puck management. But guess what? Darnell Nurse, who last year was one of the lower guys in turnover giveaways, guess what? He's in the same category this year. His giveaway is actually not any higher than last year. It's just like 2.7 per 60. It's not overly high. Now, he'll miss a few passes, sure. But to me, the bigger issue is the Oilers. And hopefully it clears up. But if you had recorded the game against Detroit and you went back because you're a sucker for punishment and watched it again, you could count how many times they had a player open and the pass just missed him. And when I say, like, you're skating up, I got a guy wheeling up the left side. I'm coming up the right side. I pass it across the ice. If I put it on his tape in motion, now he can attack with speed. But I put it behind him or I put it too far in front of him. If it's behind him, he's got to slow down. He reacts. Guess what? The rush chance is gone. It's done because now that 1/2 second, 1 second delay ruins the whole play. And it happened over and over again. And then the Oilers would, McDavid and Draisaitl, they'd enter the zone with possession, come up high, errant pass, hits a leg, hits something, turnover, goes the other way. And you're like, what the hell is going on? But that's what you're seeing repeatedly from some of the Oilers' best offensive players. And I think when that happens, it's hard to score because you're carried by your top guys. Now, the other storyline heading into tomorrow, which I think is a pretty cool storyline, is Adam Henrique is going to play his 1,000th game in the National Hockey League. Adam Henrique was the 82nd overall pick in 2008. From his draft class, he's going to be the 10th player to play 1,000 games. But do you know he's 3rd in his draft class in goals? He's 9th in points. Going to be top 10 in games played. Like, what an unbelievable career for Adam Henrique. He's played 999 games. It's got 269 goals, 576 points, 569 points, excuse me. And now he's going to get to play his 1,000th game in his home province. Now, he's from Bunford, Ontario, small little town. It's about 450 kilometers away from Ottawa, but it's in his home province. And he'll have lots of family and friends in attendance for that game tomorrow night. And, like, for a guy who's really well-liked, what little things like that can be something that adds a little juice to your team. And right now, the Oilers, they desperately could use anything that's going to give them a little extra juice. No doubt in my mind. So Adam Henrique, good guy, has turned into, just a heck of a career. Like, when you look at in the history of the NHL, Adam Henrique now will be, I think he's like 400 and I don't know what's the exact number. I think he's 405th player to play 1,000 NHL. Actually, no, 409 because there's 4 goalies. Yes. So he'll be the 409th player, 405th skater to play 1,000 games. And, there's lots of guys that he's going to pass during this season, because the Oilers still have, let's say he plays another 75 games, technically, because that's what he could play, right? Then he moves up and he'll be into the to the top 300 at that point, right? Might even get into the top 200, actually, because if I'm looking at the 299, so the 300 is Greg Adams at 1,056. So could catch up and move up past guys, which is fantastic for an 82nd overall pick. It's been a great draft pick for the New Jersey Devils. Right now, he played there, went all the way to the Stanley Cup final. He's lost 3 cups in his career, once in his first year, and then the last 2 seasons with the Edmonton Oilers. But that's a real cool moment for him and his wife and his parents and his in-laws and other friends and family. So look for a big contingent of Henriques in Ottawa tomorrow night. And you know what? Obviously, he'll get the silver stick. Probably gets that presentation in Edmonton on Thursday night, and well deserved. And we'll see. Who knows? Maybe that's something else. Because if you're the Oilers right now, you're looking for anything to try to jumpstart their team. Anything to get them going. That was the Oil Report, brought to you by GoAuto.ca. We'll come back, wrap things up, get you more on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe that life shouldn't hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't know that sometimes it really hurts. I mean, we've seen people at their worst moments in life, when they feel they have nowhere to turn, or at a time when they felt like their problem just wouldn't ever go away. We've also seen people who thought to themselves, it'll just go away on its own, or this is no big deal. I don't want to bother anyone about this. Don't know where to turn to, or think it's no big deal. Either way, we have the technology, techniques, and skills to help you get back to it, whatever your it may be. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Strudley. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters, you can attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Fernando Pisani, Kelly Buckberger, Ron Lowe, Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. There's still time to get in on every hockey fan's dream cruise. Book now and save $500 per couple. The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton. Call 1-833-347-7678. Call now to book and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Carve out for a cause at the Jason Gregor Pizza Pig Out, presented by GS Construction. Thursday, November 6th at the Canadian Ice House, indulge in unlimited pizza from amazing local pizzerias while you help raise some dough for kids' sport. Then vote for your favorite slice to help crown the People's Choice Award winners. Tickets to join Edmonton's biggest and best adult pizza party are just $30. Head to jasongregorpizzapigout.com for more details and to buy tickets.
It's a new season, Edmonton, which means it's time for new offers. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. This is your chance to score big. And for a limited time only, our listeners can get an exclusive $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for an exclusive $50 free bet. Alberta wins with Play Alberta. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, please use your game sense. PlayAlberta.ca.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. I'm super excited to tell you today that we have fed over 250 families so far with our Feed 500 Families event. With that said, we are still short of our goal. We have decided to continue this on through to the end of October. With your help and your support, we can get this done. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers back in action. OTR is now ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings. You can play, score, and win every game. See more at ontherocksyeg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley and Declan Kruger with you here. Gregor heading to a little bit of coaching action as he tries to avoid the spoilers when it comes to sports. Declan, well, we're going to bring Declan in a second here, but that's something I never have any success with. When I'm trying to avoid scores just by habit, I'll like open up Twitter by accident, and then it'll be just like, even if it's not the top of the list, I hit the For You section, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, Chargers are losing, and they're all gold uniforms, and it ruins it every time. So I don't know about you, Duck, and that's something I try to avoid as much as possible.
I've never been the biggest guy who's worried about spoilers when I'm not watching the game.
No?
Because I really appreciate watching the game no matter what. So obviously you don't want the score spoiled for you, but it's never been a huge deterrent for me to where I feel like I need to, stay off social media or something. The only time it really gets spoiled for me is if, let's say, you have like a double overtime game that ends 30-24 via a walk-off interception.
Yeah.
I get a little PO'd by knowing that was the exact way it ended. I would have liked to have seen that with my own two eyes for kind of like the whoa of it. But other than that, it's not a big deal for me.
No, I mean, and you know what, if I do see the score, like say I'm going to go catch up halfway through, then there is an increased chance that I possibly will just speed it up. But Jays are in action, of course, tonight. First pitch, 25 minutes away. I think 6:08, 6:10 is the official start time. We'll have it for you here on Sports 1440. Shane Bieber going to the mound for the Jays. Had a nice showing earlier on in the playoffs. George Kirby going to be the man called to the mound for the Seattle Mariners. You got the NFL going on right now as well. For those of you, maybe fantasy football matchups tonight, this first game to me has so much potential for you. Like when you look at the Lions and the Buccaneers, there's a lot of guys you might want to have in your starting lineup, especially with Mike Evans and Emeka Egbuka getting the call, the go-ahead to play. So far for both those players, not a whole lot. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers not doing too much. They've each been targeted once, no receptions. Rashad White's got 3 carries for 9 yards, so not too much going on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as they trail the Detroit Lions 7-0 as we're in the second quarter. On the flip side, though, if you've got Jahmyr Gibbs, 21 yards on the ground, another 54 through the air, not too shabby. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown, 67 yards, 1 touchdown. So not too bad for the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Detroit Lions. Still plenty of game to be played. I know earlier on I had picked potentially a over in that one. That's not looking good. Later tonight, you got the Texans and the Seahawks meeting down in Seattle. So Mariners sports fan torn tonight in this one. And some hockey scores for you after 20 minutes. Rangers and Wild title 1 apiece, while the Kraken trail the Philadelphia Flyers 2-1. Now, Declan, kind of one of the topics that was brought up with us as Gregor was leaving college football, NCAA here. I was talking about this on Fantasy Frenzy earlier today. And when I look at this season, and tell me I'm wrong if I am, Ohio State, and then the rest I'm a little unsure of. Now, you follow way closer than I do, but I know the Buckeyes are a good team. If they lose, then I don't know what's going to happen in the rankings.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I just got to address this. This is really niche. No one's going to be able to understand it. The playback that I'm getting in my headphones right now via the YouTube audio is different from the actual words I'm saying with my mouth and brain, and it's throwing me for such an unbelievable loop.
Pop those headphones off.
No, we're keeping an air of professionalism. Listen, it's Ohio State and everybody else. They're the best team in college football. Their defense is incredible. I didn't have them officially ranked number 1 in my ballot because it's resume based and the results on the field have to matter. And I didn't think Ohio State had the resume of an Indiana or a Miami going into this past weekend. Obviously, Miami lost, but they're the best team in college football. Like if they were playing any team on a neutral field, they would be favored. To your point, earlier, a few weeks ago, I had said it's Ohio State, Miami, Oregon, then everybody else.
Yeah.
Then I had said, okay, hold on. I guess it's Ohio State, Miami, Indiana, and everybody else. Now we're already whittled down to it's Ohio State and Indiana and everybody else. And I'm sure at some point it will just be it's Ohio State and everybody else. They are the best team in college football. Do they end up losing to Michigan? Probably. It's kind of what they do, but they're the best team. And I'll give Indiana the benefit of the doubt to be that second best team, but there is a steep drop off, I think, after that.
It's fun though. Since they grew the playoffs, I mean, some people don't like it, some people, the traditionalists perhaps, but I think the longer it goes on, just the increased chance where anything can happen. Someone can get shocked. I think that that's appealing. Morgan had texted in 1-833-401-1440 says, can't do it when it comes to PVRing sports. Got to be live or nothing for me other than highlights. And I kind of go that way with you, Morgan. Like, I try sometimes. It's not something I do very often. If there is kind of, let's say hypothetically, well, yesterday Chargers played and then the Oilers play. I'm going to PVR the Oilers and then kind of go back and see what it is. Like, what should I be looking out for? Obviously, we have to come in here and talk about it. So that might be kind of a circumstance in which I might. But like, if you're not doing this as a profession, then I could understand how you might say, okay, Oilers lost. Do I want to watch this game? Can I just go watch the highlights? That might be the route I take. Jays in 30, one of the best inventions, I would say, for a lot of us. Like, you missed the game, but you'd like to see what happened, and throw on Jays in 30 and go from there. And I tell you, more things should do that. I believe the CFL.ca has that now option, Declan, I think, where they do a condensed game.
Yeah, their YouTube is great. Mm-hmm. It's just like 10 minutes worth of highlights, really condenses the game, but gets everything in there. They do a really good job of it. CFL on YouTube as well does it, but TSN on YouTube does it as well, but CFL does a great job.
Morgan says, now that Gregor's gone, what do we really think of him? Great guy, works hard.
Bro, best boss I ever had.
Leader, best boss. Sure. Yeah, 100%.
For me, like, best boss I ever had. That goes without saying.
Ontario says, I wish they had an NHL delete where I could just delete a game from my mind. Yeah, well, to the start of the Oilers season, I'm sure there's a few of you out there that had wished that was an option. Plenty of season. I mean, I wish that this wasn't the case for the Oilers, because all offseason long, when talking about the team, I thought, okay, I want to see them in contention for the President's Trophy. I don't want to see a lull to start the season. Want to see what happens. But the fact remains, there's lots of hockey to be played. We talked about the Sens being a bit of a leaky team, a good chance for maybe the offense to get back on track. You're back. We talked about this all summer as well when the schedule was released. Like, this is going to be a tough schedule for the Oilers. Heading out east, you come back west for one game, then you're right back on the road. Like, Thursday, you're hosting the Canadiens, and it's right back to Seattle. Then you've got Vancouver, 2 games, 2 nights, a bit of a split there. Then you're back home, for 3 games. Then you're back out on the road. Like, it is a bit of a tough schedule for the Edmonton Oilers to get this season going here, but I mean, hey, shoot the puck. McDavid, Draisaitl, best players in the world, shoot the puck. HVAC Nick says, guys, got my Springer jersey on that I bought at the ALDS against the Yankees. They haven't lost every time I wore it, so let's go, Jays. Also, Vladdy wore a Matthews jersey to the game. So for Game 7, that's worrisome. Not awesome, worrisome. Yeah, the way he's playing, maybe could have avoided that one. I like that you got a Springer jersey. That guy taking that ball off the knee a couple games ago. Ooh, like the sound that made. It's like a pop. So good on Springer to gut it out. I think Tordahl might be in his future trying to get a little bit of that pain to be gone. Hey boys, I'm just coming out of the gym. I missed the news about Gregor. Where is he going? He's just going to coach hockey. Being a good dad, being a good coach. The things you got to do. Ontario Mom says, we all dreamed a dream of not having 6 stressful games in January, but it seems like we're going to have stressful games in January. No, and you know what? I think they're going to find their game, and you're going to get Zach Hyman back, which we all know is going to benefit them greatly. It pushes guys down the lineup. It gives a scoring touch into the roster. I think that's going to help be a huge addition. Maybe these games without him. I mean, I was hoping that somebody would step up in that role and you'd find another weapon offensively. And then when Hyman gets back, it's just a benefit. Someone take advantage of the opportunity. I don't think we've seen that yet, which is not ideal. But they still got some of these new players trying to figure out their roles with the team and how that's all going to play out. But yeah, when Zach Hyman gets back, I think that changes things. I think defensively, it hasn't been their biggest issue. There's been some spots that haven't been great, but Leon Draisaitl said it in the audio we heard from postgame. Like, they got to get things going, and I'm sure they will. The smart bet would to say that I think the Edmonton Oilers get things going, but the start has been a little bit troublesome for sure. Declan, just looking away from the majors tonight, and of course the Blue Jays, they get set to take on the Mariners. You also have Seahawks, Texans in this one. Texans, they I don't want to say must win, but like they got to get things going here because the Colts keep on winning. Wild card's going to be tough, but Houston Texans here going to be a tough one in Seattle. Although I know a lot of their fans will probably be watching the game on their phone while they're there. 12s, they show up. They got a good team again. This is going to be a tough one for Houston.
Houston's in a weird spot. Like they I think most of us would have expected them to win the AFC South this year. They should have taken, like, the way CJ Stroud performed his rookie season, he should have taken some degree of a step in year 2 and now again in year 3. And those steps he's taken have both been backward steps.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of, like, I really like D'Amico Ryan as a coach. I think a lot of Texans fans are probably happy it's him. But there is some degree of, like, hold on a second, things haven't gone the way they should. And now you're in a primetime spot with the nation's eyes on you. Granted, the second game of a doubleheader against a kind of forgettable opponent, respectfully. I just mean forgettable in the sense, like, Houston and Seattle play each other once every 4 years. Like, it's not like this is some heated rivalry. I don't think I don't think anyone expects either of these teams to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
But it's still a spot where if you're a Texans fan, you have to be thinking like, hey, this isn't a bad spot for us to kind of kick into gear and actually look like we can put something together with CJ Stroud as our quarterback.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? Like with Bobby Slowick, I kind of thought like they got their guy. This is going to be something for them long term that works out. When they fire him, they move on. And I don't know. I don't know what to think about this team. Well, Declan, that was a fun 15 minutes. That music means we are done. Thank you guys for tuning into the show today. If you missed anything, make sure you go check it out wherever you get your podcast from, Apple, Google, Spotify. You can also go check it out on YouTube, Oilers Nation or Sports 1440 AM. And when you're there, make sure you subscribe. Coming up next, we've got Blue Jays baseball. That one's going to get going just after 6 o'clock. Our coverage will begin right at 6 o'clock after a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. No payment, no interest on your furnace for 1 year. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game 7 of the ALCS tonight. It's going at about 6:10. Our coverage beginning here. Radio feed only, 6 o'clock as the Jays taking on the Mariners. Winner of this one will take on the LA Dodgers in the World Series in the NHL. A couple scores for you after 20 minutes. Rangers up on the Wild, or tied with the Wild, 1 apiece. Flyers up on the Kraken 2-1, and midway through the first, Sabres and Canadians are scoreless. Later tonight, Flames taking on the Jets and the Hurricanes in Vegas. In the NFL, doubleheader to wrap up Week 7.